Okay, everybody, we're here. A little late, but we're doing this thing. Boy, life comes at you fast. Work's been nuts. Sports have been nuts. Guys, I bowled 300 perfect games in less than a month, 800 series in about a month. But we're here to talk about some wrestling. There's some update. I did just buy a set of 1959 Wilson blades. Good little auction there. Paid like no money for it because who wants blades that that old? But look, the world of women's wrestling does not stop. Because my God, a lot has happened in the last 15 days. And we will be doing the Sareism show on the next episode, even though this is coming out later. And we got to talk about some of these early shows and some early news, ranging from some quick thoughts to some longer thoughts. Definitely going to be on the shorter side. I say that every time, and then I go an hour. But regardless, let's begin with Oz Academy. Okay, so we left 2023 off. Discussing how Oz Academy is firmly at number 3. It's not close. And they've got some real momentum here in terms of being above the rest of the scene. They got the mixture of nostalgia. They're doing a lot of the right things advertising-wise, if you check them out via their social medias, and how they're cultivating back their audience they used to have. And they are highlighting new people very much a la what they did in about 2016, 2017, 2018. And I'm talking like Yoshiko, Sari, Hikaru Shida, that group. And now, seemingly, they're cultivating Mio Momono into their storyline, among others, but she's kind of the focus. Ryo Mizunami is very much there, and keep an eye out for Ryo Mizunami. And I'll get into her in a second here, but we left off with Oz Academy / Ozaki and Jaguar Yokota retaining their little tag titles in the main event at Korakuen, in which the semi-main had that upper echelon good elimination battle match, a mini like lucha elimination deal, in which we saw Ryo Mizunami eliminate like an entire side, and she's exhausted and battling her way back to lose to Mio Momono, which we all know has gotten pummeled by Mayumi Ozaki 2-3 times over now. So her big win going against Akino is her chance, right? She hasn't faced one-on-one Ozaki and won any sort of battle. It's a long-term story we're assuming they're telling, or it's going to lead down a path in which I guess I'll speculate a way that I think a lot of you listening to RLR here is very familiar with, the alternative path. But I'll lay out both just so we're all on the same page here. Okay? So before the Akino run, it was the bizarre Maya Ikihi run, and we're like, okay, let's see what she does, and the reign was pretty awful. Right? Bad matches to overall awful and boring, to the bizarre title vacation, to her getting it back, and eventually losing that thing. Now, Akino has had this title for like a year and a half. All her matches have been bad to poor at best, right? Up until the Mio Momono match, which they booked for the January 7th show at Shinjuku Face. Nice little house. Allegedly, assuming 482. Always take Oz Academy with a grain of salt of plus minus 100-300 at times, or even more so in some cases. But 482 nonetheless, and highlighted by this very wacky tournament that makes no sense. And then you get to a 3-way in which Ryo Mizunami, via shenanigans and Ozaki and police getting thwarted, double pinning, stacking them, both Ozaki and Kato, in a little 8-minute affair there. So there you go. Ryo Mizunami, yet again, kind of being a major player in the background while I think a lot of people are focused on Mio Momono when Ryu Mizunami is the one really truly being built for something bigger in this promotion. I say that because of the alternative path that I think we're going to go down. Because in the main event, it was Mio Momono defeating Akino in a match I actually really enjoyed. It's the best Akino match I can point to, especially singles, in about 5 years. It's been a long time since we've seen an Akino match like this, and I give a lot of that credit to the heat at the beginning of the match, which is very strange. It's always a strange dichotomy in Oz Academy where Akino's getting heat and the crowd is very pro-her. And luckily for them, Mio Momono is very much an easy babyface to cheer for, and it eventually turned in that direction for, I would say, generously half the crowd. And it's a 23-minute match. Like I said, a lot of heat. It's a good 11 minutes of Akino heat, so we're talking half the match until it really gets going to anything involving a Mio Momono offensive strike. The finishing stretch is pretty short, but enjoyable, and Momono gets the win. I went about 4 stars, 4.25 if I was in a good mood. 8.31 on Cage Match. That's not entirely off, I agree. Match of the Year contender? Absolutely not. I don't think so. It's not going to break bounds. I don't think it's going to make... it shouldn't make anyone's Match of the Year list, considering how much year there is still to go. And how just upper echelon a couple other matches we'll be discussing later are. But a good match nonetheless. And what does this mean for a Mio Momono title reign? Okay? Well, obviously the story is she beats Ozaki or nothing else matters. That is what needs and has to happen for this storyline to really play out how it should. So now we have a scenario where Ozaki is the bigger title, more important historical title champion, and Momono is the champion of her promotion. Are we leading down a path of a title versus title match? In which Momono wins? That's very, I suppose, possible. I'm more erring on the side of caution with that, based on the history we know. Is Ozaki trying to politic for a double title run herself? That's also possible on the side of caution. But I think for those listening to RLR, I think a more true path, an alternative path, is something along the lines of Ozaki loses the title to Takumi Iroha on a show via many shenanigans, possibly even a roll-up after police hits her. That's a very Ozaki-ism finish. And on the Mio Momono side, I think she'll get a couple defenses in at some point at these Shinjuku face shows. Possibly against, like, a random Kekaru match. Maybe they throw... who would be a good... Itsuki Aoki. Someone like that. Kaori Oniyama's always a go-to. And she'll get a couple there, and then she will lose to Ryu Mizunami. Possibly by May. That is my alternative prediction there. In which case, it's very Oz Academy. I base that alternative on a lot of history with how they book this title, how they book baby faces with this title, and with the way Ryu Mizunami is being more or less built up as the strong person. She is a very strong candidate to win this thing. Who else among in this promotion could do this? They could throw it on YUU out of nowhere. Sanako Kato is a possibility. You get the idea. So I'm holding my breath on the Oz Academy marvelous booking story. For those that don't like Stardom and are maybe not as high on TJPW, right now this is the storyline a lot of people are grasping onto. For those that want to kind of cheer for the indies, but I will not have people gaslighting Oz Academy and being any good when they have maybe 4 or 5 good matches a year. And when you look up and down the cards, there's a reason why no one talks about these things. This tournament they had, this Makinkori Majiten tournament, was a complete farce and joke. people losing in 2 minutes, getting eliminated in 5 and 3. It's pure comedy and a waste of time. This is Oz Academy Booking 101, where it is certainly not for me. It is certainly not for many of you. And based on discussions, it's not for really anybody. Now, is the one match going to have people talking and say, God damn, Oz Academy, look at this? You're going to see it out there. But if we're still looking at cage match, because at least the Joshi realm is relatively safe, other than the rampant tribalism between TJPW really gaslighting their shows and matches. But hey, like what you like. So before we get on to the main two here, there was a Seedling show, which I gotta pull that up, and I did watch it. God, there was just so much to watch. I couldn't even get around to CMLL in the time frame, but CMLL has been pumping out excellent matches left and right. Dorada is just on fire. The Vacker matches weren't particularly good because Juvia couldn't keep her breasts inside her shirt one day, and anyways, Vacker's still good. Had a pretty good match that she got out of Eva Van, who was in slow-mo mode, but so we go to the Shakiba series from Seedling, 160, not a good house by any means. Very much bulldozed by a scary event that happened, and it really took a lot out of the show. And no, I'm not talking about the Makoto Nagisa Nozaki 10-minute draw, which was weird. I'm talking about this tag team title tournament that they're doing. There's blocks involved and whatnot. They're going to have a B block tournament on another day. Well, what happens is Matsumoto Kagura go to a draw with against Veni and Mayuki. 15 minutes. Match was fine, right? It's the second match that got all the information because Nakajima... How do I put this? What goes down in the match is essentially she goes to the corner and Takase has her in like this just normal ass choke, right? Doesn't do much, and Nakajima just goes out and limp, and she's out of the match. And then Saori has to then win this thing by herself because that's how they booked it, and Nakajima gets stretchered out. Very much like a temporary paralysis kind of deal, extremely scary. It's the kind of injury that makes you question if she'll continue her career. That's how just mundane it was. And so that really put an issue on the show. And so Takase and Sumire Natsu just go to the finals, even though they lose this match. Saori is not allowed to go on and win a match solo. And then they just throw Mayuki and Veni in there for a main event. Bizarre stuff, terrible stuff. It was reported later from Seedling and Arisa Nakajima that she is out of the hospital, but I don't know when she's coming back. Maybe it's already been announced, but I'd be very much erring on the side of caution with the future of Arisa Nakajima, which is very sad, considering still how young she is and how much she can offer. But when you're not getting picked up by, or she just doesn't have the ambition to go to Stardom, TJPW, or try out her feel in America other than the, she is champion of that goofy art thing that's going on, Sukeban, that, I'm not covering that show. It is, I'm not covering those things. They want to say they're not for wrestling fans, go for it. It's horrible. It's horrible everything. So good luck to Arisa Nakajima. Hopefully it's not career over, because that is frightening. And then there was the Arcean reboot and the Inagi shows. Okay? The Arcean reboot was very much, I say reboot, it nostalgia, like comeback, promotion closed X amount of years ago. They got 480, not a great house for something, but look, Ayaka Hamada is back in the country, probably still can't work due to her past drug charges and what she has, but it was very emotional for a lot of people as she was there. And the Unagi show, produced and advertised by All Japan Pro Wrestling, who is very much in the news and a major name legacy promotion. And Unagi and her goofy little show got 1,230. It was all about her. And, you know, when you see a show like this and how the people react to Unagi, you know, you wonder, A, why a promotion won't exactly push her to any degree when she's triple goof belt champion, right? And, you know, you hear rumors in the rumor mill that she's tough to work with, but I don't know. You look at shows like this and how she's booked overall in the scene, she's willing to do jobs, no problem. Everything's in Unagi's favor except the scene and what they're doing with her. And she got 1,230. Yes, I truly believe All Japan had a lot to do with getting Unagi the attention, the extra attention to what she needed to really pop this number. And it's a big feather in her cap. Now, was the show anything special? No, not really. It was very goofy. If you're into it, you're into it. I certainly am not. Will something come out of it with Unagi? And I want to say B, the other factor is, now we see why people like Suwama and among those others in the Tokyo Sports Awards, why Unagi got more votes than any other person other than Tam Nakano. She garners the most attention outside of Stardom proper. Has nothing to do with kayfabe accomplishments, has nothing to do with really popping much houses. It's a lot of her own advertising and success, and I am not discounting that her time in Stardom really helped attribute to her popularity. Certainly got more eyeballs exposed to her and what she's about. So what does that mean? Well, let's go over some numbers here. The produce shows now have a total through mid-January here of 2,295. I'm including the Sariism show in that, which got 585. And if we look at TJPW and Oz Academy, TJPW has 1,609 and Oz Academy has 1,094. They just pulled 612 at a house recently. The produce shows are still doing better than the majority of the promotions, which I will discuss more on the Patreon with Year of Joshi in Review, purely business and attainability records, that kind of thing, year over year. I'll be doing the same thing for the 2010s journey over more statistical analysis, or at least coverage of what kind of a lot of these numbers mean, or at least what we can discern from them, even if they're super small. You know, we're not talking about the thousands, we're talking about tens of hundreds, right? But based on just these three things, Produce, Oz Academy, TJPW out of the gate, who is not running during this time period to really drum up business or interest? Well, Seedling attempted something and failed at Shinkiba First Ring. Ice Ribbon, Wave, and Pure J and Diana have been completely absent in January. They're still doing their normal booking routine, and we've heard nothing out of these promotions. Ribbon Mania was, let's see here. What did they get at Ribbon Mania again? Ribbon Mania pulled 503, bad number. Wave in the month of December pulled a 428, and Pure J pulled 556, normalcy during the holidays. These promotions are not doing well. These three in particular I point to because they kind of have the longest tenure, other than Oz Academy, of course, that we can go off. Pure J, I'm still counting as JWP in this case. Wave and Ice Ribbon, late aughts is what we're looking at here, and just how far below they are, even compared to kind of this top three scenario. All right, let's move on to TJPW. You guys may have heard the scratching in the background, but that is my cat climbing up a pole in my basement here. And he's running around the basement hard. I'm kind of waiting for him to jump on a couple of the TVs here. But yeah, it's terrorizing time for him. Yeah, if you've seen a picture of my basement I posted online, you can see there's like 2 poles, the support poles in the basement, and the previous owner had carpet on them, a la 1960-70. And I've left them there for the sole purpose of the cat. There he is on now the pole behind me. I left him there for him to climb and scratch and whatnot, and it's very funny. What's up, Sid? What's going on, buddy? Oh my god. Okay, so TJPW ran Cork Hall, their Ittenyon show, ran head-to-head with Stardom, who was who's copying. I don't want to call them rivals, but Stardom does Ittenyon Stardom Gate. So Jan 4 Gate, little digs at Tokyo Joshi Pro and Dragongate. In my head, they are. Yeah, Stardom Gate. That's funny, but Tokyo Joshi Pro, they're and this is what I've been trying to tell people. You look at these numbers that they pull year over year, and what they're actually doing. Their January 4th show is their second largest of the year. It's bigger than Wrestle Princess. It's bigger than Summer Sun. It's behind Grand Princess. And it was painfully obvious to me that the only thing that was holding the Jan 4 shows back for a period of time was the restricted attendance at Korakuen. So we cut to this year. They're up 100 people year over year, 1235 versus the 1111 of last year. And guess what? Much bigger than Wrestle Princess at the 868. And yeah, above Summer Sun at the bigger building. January 4th is their second most important show of the year. They can still do their cute little mid-year shows after Grand Princess, which they've already now announced will be Miyu Yamashita against the Battle Royal winner of Miyu Watanabe. And I'll get to the Battle Royal thing in a second here, but it's put up or shut up. Put up or shut up for TJPW. And there's a lot of fans, and I've seen some mixed takes on TJPW of what they're planning to pull. First of all, I think going 2.5 months without another defense is weak, especially for a promotion like TJPW. They're just not aggressive enough in this, and they're not giving enough of their talent bigger spots to get over to the extent that they need them to for these big shows. So, yeah, we're doing a little Grand Princess preview here. 15-13 last year. 17-14 in 2022. So, do I think they're going to get either of those numbers? That's tough to say. I mean, it's going to be a huge feather in Miyu Watanabe's cap, and her connection with the fans of that fan base, because I have seen it at least from the English side, English language side, how much people are latching on to Miyu Watanabe as the next main eventer. And we've been waiting on this for well over a year. You know, first it was Mizuki, and then she eventually got there, but it was too late. Maki Ito looks like she's never going to be there. They just never have that term, and she's already got 1.5 feet out the door. She's basically a GCW person. So the only person really left to be in that role is Miyu Watanabe, other than the two people that are left behind, Rika Tatsumi and Shoko Nakajima. And it certainly looks like Shoko is very much taking a back step and cycling down in TJPW, while Rika Tatsumi is kind of in that mid-card hell, right? I still think there's legs to another Rika Tatsumi reign down the line, but when it comes March time, and how they build up the next few months here, a couple months at this point, with Miyu Watanabe, I think is very telling. And her winning a Battle Royal over Yuki Kamifuku certainly isn't a good start, but it got people talking. So what about this TJPW show was strong? Well, I think the first 2 matches were very much TJPW along those lines. Mizuki now Calcutta, due to the fact that Hikari Noa seems temporarily canceled by her own promotion for hanging out with a fan and going out with her. I don't know. Some weird rumors going around about that. Much along the line of people wondering even Japanese side of Twitter, if you look into it, they're wondering about Hikari Noa, and they're getting blocked. So this is really like a blacklisted topic for TJPW and Hikari Noa. It's quite something that's unfolding now. More scandals in Joshi. So we got Mizuki defeating Nao Calcutta in a very strong kind of sub 9-minute match there. Nice little 3 stars. I quite enjoyed that. We got more of the Shoko Hyper Masao nonsense. These stink. You know, they've clearly run out of ideas. The shenanigans are very few and far between at this point. They can't do something else with Shoko Nakajima. People are, I don't know. Shoko Riho would be certainly a cool match, but instead Riho's facing Shino Suzuki, beats her in 5 minutes. It's like, okay, whatever. 1.5 stars, 2 stars, whatever. Now, what was done very well is this Aja Kong Wakana Uehara match. 7 minutes, but you'd feel like Wakana Uehara was against Prime Aja Kong in this match, the way it was going. And Aja Kong doesn't need to do like anything like this, but this is why I still have a tremendous amount of respect for her. And her in a position like this, going against rookies, is great. Her in like semi-mains and mains can't do it anymore, right? And they did a nice little story where the winner of the rookie tournament got to face the legend, right? Very much reminding you, yes, they are still rookies and have a ways to go, but Wakana is the best of this group, right? So they came out with a game plan to get Wakana as over as possible against the just legend that is Aja Kong. Jumps her before the bell and puts her in a sleeper hold. And it was so basic and well told. And the thing Wakana was missing is the offense to really put her down. And I like that rookie storytelling. Wakana's good. She's got a lot of talent. She's got a lot of potential. The sleeper hold was put over strong. She's getting her moves in, but she's not strong enough to lift her and take Aja Kong off her feet. So they did a really cool, very 1970s sleeper hold, 1, 2, 3 drop. And then Aja Kong got up, hit her with a big Saito suplex, and it was kind of over. And that's all it took. Wakana lacks the defensive points, and she lacks those offensive points to do the long-term damage. I love this match. It's 2 out of 3. It was great. So well told. It's like a 3-star match that I couldn't recommend enough. And if this leads to something like at the end of the year, or say a Wrestle Princess run, and or something for Uehara to overcome, and she'll have this story in the back of her head where the ultimate goal is to beat Aja Kong. Will that ever happen? Well, that's up to TJPW. Rina Yamashita and Maki Ito have a GCW offer match that was pretty shitty, leading to Rina Yamashita at one point doing a DVD with Maki Ito into a corner table that she just really landed on her shoulder terribly, and now she's out injured. So, don't recommend that one. Yukari Rai defeats Max the Impaler to become the new International Princess Champion. I think this is a case of Max the Impaler winning up, or losing up, where she beat the shit out of Yuki Rai, but now they've put over Yuki Rai's goofy axe kick as a kill shot move. And I quite enjoyed the shock factor of this. It was not a great match by any means, but the result was really good and well done. So Max loses this title. I think it's a good spot for her. They get Yuki Rai over even more so. And, I mean, I want to see a Miyamashita Max the Impaler match. That's what I want to see. And, boy, would that have been a good, like, February Korakuen or something kind of match that they could put on. Or who knows? Maybe they have something longer-term plan where Mio defeats Mio Watanabe at Grand Princess, and then they'll follow that up with the Max the Impaler match. Who knows? The vacant tag titles because, well, Hikari Noa got blacklisted. I didn't like this match very much. I thought it was extremely messy, not well put together. Didn't do much for me. Can't recommend this one. It does have a 7.8 on Cage Match with TJPW fans, so they liked it. I mean, I went sub 3 on it. I was not a fan. And then we got the banger. Miyu Yamashita defeats Masha Slamovich in 17 minutes, 20 seconds. Retains the title. 8.88 on Cage Match. Yeah, I mean, 4.25 plus area? Sure. Absolutely love this. This was significantly better than Masha's title match against Robert Dreisker at the year-end show for WXW. I mean, I forgot to even talk about that on the last episode, but that was a match that gave me visceral hatred because it's how to not tell a story, it's how to not put someone over, and it's how to bury an entire division in gender. I thought it was horribly done, incredibly overbooked to a detrimental degree. So for those that haven't seen it, WXW, and this is why I like this match, just shows you how much better Masha is in this kind of environment. Obviously, TNA isn't using her very well, or at all. But so Robert Dreisker is the big heel and boss group in WXW, VXV, in Germany, and Masha was the women's champion, and so they did a title for title match, basically getting rid of the women's division, but on the back of Masha is a legit contender and can win this thing. And honestly, I understand why they do it. There's just not enough women to have this title in Germany, especially right now. You just can't do it. So, and Masha is extremely over with the fans. So they build up this entire match. It's well done to this point. Then they have the match. Masha jumps him before the bell, beats him down, and slowly but surely, Dreisker heals it up, and there's your ref bump. There's people coming out. There's interference. There's more interference. Ref's down again. Killer Kelly comes out to save Masha and even the odds against the evil men, right? And then she just kind of disappears. There's more cheating. Masha turns the tides, and she has him in a choke, in which then the match ends with the fat man falling backwards on her and pinning her splat. Goodbye, women. Good. It's so horrible. All of that nonsense happens in the last 5 to 10 minutes. It's so long and so dragged out that it just leaves nothing but sour. And they're going for heat. And WXW is known to do this from time to time. This very Attitude Era booking, and it was too much, and it was the wrong story to tell. They could have easily run it back at the end of January for their what is it? Is it Back to the Roots? It's where they do their Käfigschlacht, the cage match deal, where they could have had Masha and Robert go back in the cage with no interference, and Robert could win that one. He could just win it back. Be a heel and the better guy, right? Cage keeping people out, blah blah blah. And there's a history behind Robert Dreisker in being this unstoppable force in a cage. But anyways, Miyu Yamashita, Masha Slamovich was way better than that match. Not an overbooked piece of shit. And a fat person didn't pin Masha at the end. Look, they went out swinging. Lots of kicking. Masha's unique offense is very awesome, especially with her up kicks that she does. And it led to a match I firmly agree is in that 4.25 plus range. Miyu Yamashita hits a couple Crash Rabbit heats on her, puts her away, retains the title, and we're on our way to Grand Princess. So I think with the exception of the few matches I do not like, the house shows have been pretty okay in what they've been doing. I'm really into Wakano Ihara. I'm into this Yuki Arai run. I'm into what they're doing with a lot of their younger talent, and I'm very curious what's in store for TJPW as we move along through the year. Let's hit up some Stardom, shall we? What am I going to play here? Oh, man. Oh, right. Why wouldn't I play this? Here we go. Okay, Stardom Ittenyon Gate. And this is what I kind of mentioned on the previous episode. If we combine the first two shows of the year from Stardom last year, okay, where they ran the Triangle Derby shows, the double shot there, and between the Yokohama Budokan and Aichi with the Triangle Derby, they got 2,600, okay? Compared to this one, it's very comparable with Yokohama Budokan yet again. Obviously, that was down a lot, but with how they were kind of running these things, they got about 2,500 this year with the Tokyo Dome City Hall. So it was essentially flipped in importance for what they were doing. Ittenyon was essentially equivalent to their Derby opener last year, and then the Derby in Nagoya in Aichi was more or less like their Yokohama Budokan. Comparable numbers on their little back-to-back run here, back-to-back days. Is there still room for improvement in getting this promotion back to a certain heat factor level? Absolutely. They're certainly much colder than they were at the same time last year. That's due to 6-7 months of just questionable booking. Luckily, the 5-star really kept us through a good chunk of the year there, where they were pretty damn cold, and then how they ended the year with the injury plague that really hurt the promotion. But I know people are going to point to kind of how much lower they were for Dream Queendom year over year. I'm not as negative on that as it may seem, because they still pulled 3,000 plus. If they pulled under the 3,000, I'd be a little bit more worried, because that's the number I've been kind of pointing to. I want to see them get to these B and C shows more in the 15 to 2,000, like 2,000 plus, and specifically. I want to see them get above 2,000 more often. And they've been kind of stuck at that 1,100 for a lot of these shows. And then it decreased once the 5-star was over. Very much so, being plagued by a lot of that. The Supreme fight in Nagoya, or no, is it Osaka that they're doing this? I think Supreme Fight was in Nagoya one year, and then, let's see, Supreme Fight was Aichi. No, yeah, it was Nagoya in 2022 and Osaka, so wherever it is this year. If we look at some numbers, that did 1,300 in 2022, still very pandemic time period, and then they did 1,800 in Osaka last year. So 1,500 is still kind of the guessing game there. That is what they got at City Hall here, which I thought was a good number. Good enough in terms of what they're doing. And it was a one-match show, let's face it, with the Mai Iwatani Shuri main event. There's a lot more we could further break down. They had their awards, where Micah was the fan vote winner, and then there was some like kayfabe stuff they just kind of gave out to people and whatnot. But regardless, the bigger news here is there's still a lot of Julia wondering of what's going on. With the strong title, her contract status, how long she's going to go in between the contracts. Supposedly there's no interest anymore between her and WWE, zero interest with AEW. I mean, if those two promotions are out, she's staying in Stardom. That's my best guess. She's not going to TNA. I think that'd be pretty foolish. Although, let's think about this. TNA's got money to burn. Their women's division has taken a huge hit over the last year and a half, especially now with Purrazzo and the former Naomi leaving. And the way TNA contracts work, it's television taping based ahead of time. I mean, is it so far-fetched to say Julia does her American thing, gets more eyes on her, because she is that kind of person, and then she can also do Stardom dates? I'm not discounting that. It's very possible. We've seen men do that with New Japan. Yeah, now that I think about that, it's not out of the realm of... it's. I would say it's more than 10% chance, right? And that's still assuming that WWE has no longer interest in her. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the free agent status of one Sasha Banks, and now Kazuchika Okada. And yes, they are going to be very much higher sought free agents over Julia. And let's say that their contracts are figured out, in February or January here. And look, Julia's supposedly her contract's up in like March, April. Sometimes you just got to wait until the bigger free agents are gone, and then you can sign your Tyler Glasnows of the world, or what have you, if you're into the baseball reference. Hello, Kitty Cat. Welcome back. What's going on, buddy? You want to lay down right here? Make a decision, buddy. Come on. You're okay. Aw, he's laying down. Aw, yeah. All right. He's kind of cold. He wants to lay down and cuddle. So what was the Stardom show, and what are their house shows been like? I think it's a lot of confidence in getting back to form. Good solid duos and trios tags going on in the undercard. We got the dissolution of DDM that was announced. We got the now new unit, dissolution of Club Venus, and we got Micah getting a unit with Mina Shirakawa as her number 2. And I think that's good for everybody. Mina Shirakawa, I have a feeling that there was this sort of long-term plan with Mina and possibly her title run, or at least post-title run, to have this big Gaijin group, and she was at the helm. And I bet there was some visa issues that came into be. There was clearly some backstage riffraff going on, causing drama that probably had a lot to do with interfering in some plans. And now that seemingly a lot of personnel has been changed, there's some contract questions coming into play. Mina Shirakawa getting into a group with Micah. I mean, these are like two of the most over people in the company right now, right? Maybe not internationally. A lot of people point to Mayu and Julia, kind of in that sense, but and there's a lot of people factionless still. Is that going to be a big deal for Stardom in 2024? We'll find out. There's still the matter of where Mei Seira, what Tekla's contract status is, where Suzu Suzuki ends up being, and where a lot of the extra members of DDM lie that are still there. So we got a really good tag match that I end up liking more than So this Divine Kingdom Julia Suzuki match, 20-minute draw. I went 4 stars on it. I have it. Do I have it above Miyamoto Akino? Yeah, I think I do. And then we had, look, it was a 20-minute draw. And Stardom's back to form when people are getting upset about all the draws. That was when the promotion was at its peak there for a little while. And they're doing these things on house shows and matches that they're trying to build things up. Micah Julia looks like a match in the works. Something involving Suzu Suzuki. There's a lot of questions and interesting factors for Stardom as we continue through the year. And then there's this Mayu Itani Shuri match. 19 minutes and 6 seconds. Mayu retains over Shuri. Got 4 3/4 in the Observer because headbutts go burr. Men do it. He cringes and then gives it 5 1/4. Very funny. Hey, look, I'm not 5 stars on it either, just to be clear. As a 9.06 on the cage match. 4.5 stars? Yeah. A little above that? Sure. I mean, it's certainly my match of the year right now, without question. These two were at the top of their game, and I think they learned their lesson from their couple previous encounters there, especially the one that happened at, I think it was the Sumo Hall show, which that what it was. I mean, I liked that match, but this was just significantly better. Didn't go to the ground a lot. They went to kicking, they went to throwing, and they went to headbutting. And that's where it's at. The near falls were tremendous. This is going to be really hard to top for women's match of the year. And for me, it's going to be tough to top in general. I think with a well-told story and some good booking leading up, I think that will be an easier case to beat, at least for my taste, to beat this match, because this was very much a vacuum booked style, right? We're gonna have an IWGP match on January 4th. Go out there and kill it, and they did. And there's not much else to it, except being a fucking awesome match. So Mayu Iwatani Shuri, 4.5 stars plus. Let's go. And what does that mean for Stardom as we continue through 2024? Well, I mean, their house shows are down. Certainly. So we go to, let's go to Korakuen, Nagoya, Anjo, and so we got the 2 Osaka shows. Let's just go through these. 800 Korakuen Hall. We know that's low. They did the double battle royal. One for the Wonder title, one for the World title. They did have a very good Julia Mayu Iwatani against Maika Sauriano 20-minute draw. Love that too. Didn't go 4 stars on that one, but it was pretty close. 3.5, 3 3/4 area. Very good 2 out of 3. The Wonder title, the Wonder Rumble was very much, it left a lot to be desired. It was way too long, 37 minutes almost, with a lot of dorks. Rina, Ruaka, Saki Kashima playing it up, comedy style. Yuna Mizumori, you get the idea. Starlight Kid wins. And she eliminates Hanan, while there was some antics and whatnot early on. When did Azumi go out, by the way? She went out early. Yeah, Rina eliminated her. Rina eliminated a couple people, which was kind of surprising. Anyways, so Starlight Kid, clearly the fat money grubbing hoe over here gets the first opportunity. She's bribing somebody, and she is going to be the first challenger of the new year for the Wonder title against Saori Anou, and that's interesting. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for Starlight Kid to really bounce into 2024 on a strong note, because her 2023 was very, very much nothing compared to where she was coming up in 2020 and 2021, in 2022 even. She had a big rocket packed to her, very much in advertising, and then she just kind of went poof in 23 with some people, some rumors that she got. Anyways, whatever. And then there was the World title Rumble with Ami Sourei, Megan Bayne, Mina Shirakawa, and Mirai. Nanai was in it. Tora, Suzu, Shuri, and Utami. Megan Bayne was a force. She quickly eliminates Ami, Suzu, and Tora. Saya Kamatani eliminates Megan Bayne. That was a big pop. Nanai eliminated Mirai. Mina Shirakawa eliminates Nanai, so they're clearly building up something with these two, if that wasn't clear enough. Mina eliminates both Shuri and Utami, which I very much enjoyed. So Mina getting some momentum back after kind of that back half of the year and ending 2023 on a sour note. And then Kamatani eliminates her. So Kamatani, coming back from injury, gets a chance at V1 for Maika. And because of Saya Kamatani, who she is, and the rumors that she was supposed to win the 5-star and then go on to win the red belt at the end of the year, are we looking at a case of Mina Shirakawa and Mirai all over again, where they just wanted to tell this one-off story with, in the previous case, Mina, in this case, Maika? You got your moment, and then we're going to title switch right away and get back on track. Ooh. It's very possible. And that's frightening, isn't it, guys? Because I'm a Maika fan. I think there's so much legs to her reign. And this is, to me, an opportunity to really tell something with Saya Kamatani. I believe Maika should win. Goes on to face Julia, Utami, people she couldn't beat. Saya Kamatani is a good one. You can even run back the Suzu Suzuki match again. There's a lot of legs. I mean, hell, if it was up to me, I would do Maika Utami in March at the what is that show called? World Climax? Is that what they're still calling it? All-Star Grand Quint? Oh, they've changed it every year. That's why I can't remember. Whichever, March or April, whenever they're deciding to do this big-ass show, right? I would do Maika Utami, and Utami beats her. Let's get Maika a couple defenses here. Sai Kamatani, Julia. And then you can do it on the third one. It's Utami, and then bang. Couldn't beat her. Still can't beat her. Utami is a thorn in her side. I love that story. Little fantasy booking there, but I don't think Maika needs a long reign. I think she needs defenses that people want to see during her reign, and that'll be satisfying. And then because Saya Kamini has lost this red belt chance early on, you can tell the story all year long of her trying to get back to that point and win. Does she need to win the Cinderella again? Does she need to win the 5-star this year? A lot of chances. A lot of chances there. So let's see. Where was I? Oh, right. So 800 Korakuen, not great. 511 in Nagoya. They've definitely done better in Aichi. We've been over this. Very much lots of tags, couple time draws, nothing really over 10 minutes. Very basic show. So they kind of got what they deserved there. New Year tag tournament. I think it was supposed to be a tag title match of QQ against, who was it? It was against, it was against Crazy Star. Mei Sara and Suzu Suzuki, but Suzu got the flu or something. So I think that deterred something at the end of it all. So they did a tournament instead. The QQ against Hanan Mayu match was pretty good. You know, when you're going sub 10 minutes for a lot of these things, what are you going to say? Everything's like 3 1/4, being generous. This is where things get, this is where the schedule still needs fixing. 274, we're still in Aichi, so yeah, you're not gonna, no stakes, your basic tag card again. Then they go to Osaka, and this is frightening to me, and how this company just can't flip on a light switch and be hot again. It's gonna take a long time. And they main evented this one with another good match. It was Megan Bain and Maika against Azumi and Sai Kamatani, but they only got 290 to Osaka. And going sub 300 in Osaka is a bad sign. Now, they did do, yes, it was on back-to-back days. They did 299 the next day. So if you want to say, oh, what if they ran once? Could they have done 600 plus? Maybe. It could just be the same people buying a ticket twice. You know, hardcore wrestling fans. And there wasn't much on that on these 2 days that differentiated themselves from each other. Still had QQ in the main event. Still had Divine Kingdom doing a tag. You get the idea. Okay, so that's where we're at. I think these early attendances are. I can't say it's a bad sign for Stardom, but it's certainly going to take a good 3, 4, 5, 6 months for this company to get back into action from where they were even a year ago at this point in time. But in the positive news, we got Sarism to talk about on the next show with Chihiro Hashimoto and Sari version 7.25 or whatever you want to dub it, because they've faced each other so much, especially just in the last year in tags and singles and whatnot since her return. We got 2 very good Match of the Year contender matches between TJPW and Stardom. We have some good indie matches, namely that Akinomiya Momono match, which even surprised me. Very happy with that. And if this is what the rest of the year is going to look like, then we're looking very positive. Let's go to some All Japan women. We haven't done that in a little while. Here we go. Okay, here we are. We are entering 1995 for All Japan Women. We finished out the Big Egg show. We just did Wrestle Marine P-Head that took place 2 weeks after that. And so, if you go to the Classics, which we are on episode 104 of the AJW Classics, they skip over Tag League. Now, if you remember in 1993, the Tag League was culminated with the 2 back-to-back 5-star matches that was a tape trader's dream back in the day. And, I mean, well earned, I would say, with Akira Hokuto just being the greatest thing invented since the air conditioner. And now that leads us to what happened with the Tag League in a post-Big Egg world. And this was whacked out. So it starts in, like, August of 1994. Now, if you remember in 94, the Japan Grand Prix was a waste of time. It was the top 2 finish to not face each other, but be allowed in the V-Top tournament at Big Egg. So what the hell is Tag League for? Is it for the tag titles? Is it for challengers to face the tag champions? Do we even remember at this point who the champions are in this promotion other than Aja Kong as Red Belt champion? Well, let me be the reminder here that Manami Toyota is the All Pacific champion when she unified the IWA and All Pacific title in that good match in August of 94 against Kyoko Inoue. And then she had the even better match 2 months later against Takako Inoue. Takako? At a Tag League show. And I spoke very highly of that one. It was tremendous. Super glad I watched it. So Toyota is the All Pacific champion. So who are the tag champions as we're covering Tag League here and then the very first show of 1995? Well, it's Kyoko Inoue and Takako Inoue. Double Inoue. They're champions. They won these titles on October 9th, 1994. Okay. Did we see that? Do you remember it? Well, it was the Manami Toyota Toshi Omada match in which that's who they beat him for. And then they had the good match, another Tag League show in Hiroshima against Suzuka Minami and Yumika Hotta. You can absolutely watch these matches. That's all part of our little goal here, okay? So what I ended up doing was, and this is why it also took me so long to put this episode out, because I wanted to do the Tag League as best I could. And who are the teams in this? And why wasn't this like at all covered in the Classics? Were there good matches? Well, we have random duos here. Double Inoue are in Tag League, but they're not as champions. They've split them up. Manami Toyota is with Takako. And who the hell was Kyoko with? Kyoko Inoue was with... Oh my god, I have this written down. I just gotta find it. Kyoko was with Saki Asagawa. Okay. So very much, we got some randos here. Who else was in this thing? We got, I know we had Aja Kong and Reggie Bennett. Just, it feels like Earthquake and Typhoon 2.0 right here. Even, oh, man, was that before then? Was this team before the natural disaster? No, they had to be. This is after natural disasters were formed. We have a ton of rookies in the undercard. We got JWP coming in, doing some things. There's a junior league ongoing. Do not watch that. That was pretty poor. The big news out of the junior league is more or less, look at AJW debuting all of these rookies now. And they've been really hurt by a slim roster over the last year and a half, and with multiple retirements due to injury. Namely, Bat Yoshinaga is kind of the one that sticks out. We got LCO in this thing. We got Marioka Yoshida. Who's Yoshida teaming with? Karuito, I think? Oh boy. Trying to get past these junior league notes I have, because I got like Hiromi Yagi, JWP against Kumiko Meikawa. These are all like 1 and 2 star stuff. Asari and Kandi Okatsu was randomly in that. I think they're a little above, but they can't be in Tag League, so let's stick them in there. We had random singles matches of Saki Asagawa and Suzuka Minami, which was really good. That made my notes. Little on the ground, though. Look, Suzuka Minami's her singles matches very much delve still into the old style, we'll call it. And when I say old style, it's like way more technical wrestling. But the thing is, the wrestling and style has changed so much over the last few years, since '88. And we'll put Suzuka Minami firmly in that group. She just has never evolved her style away from that. And boy, is that more obvious when you start seeing like Lioness Asuka and Jaguar Yokota on like the January 3rd and 4th show of AJW. Is the January 4th show in the Classics? It is not. Okay, so we can definitely... Yeah. So... Yeah, because Asuka and Jaguar Yokota, you know, we're very close to JD Star coming into an existence. With the return to the ring of, because they've abolished the age rule, so the wrestlers that are still not even in their 30s kind of want to come back to wrestling when they retired, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So yeah, because we got I'm looking at the January 3rd card here, and it's Lioness Asuka and Toshi Yamada going to a 30-minute draw against Suzuka Minami and Yumika Hotta, which that match did not rate too high, especially not compared to some of these other tag league matches. So yeah, if you're into mat style, then Suzuka Minami, Saki Asagawa might do it for you, and it sure looks like the Saki Asagawa hero character of Blizzard Yuki is all but gone, and seems like it was gone as soon as it came into existence. I did like how she pulled up a new style though for a lot of it, and she's kind of carrying it over now that they've dropped it. I would say, is this the best match of the tournament? I think it is. I think this is the best match of the tag league that I saw. It's LCO against Minami Toyota and Takako Inoue. And this match took place... when did it take place? I want to say it was on an October show. Don't have the date. Well, we know it's during the tag league. So there you go. None of these matches are 2 out of 3 falls. It's just straight up 23 minutes of lots of doomsday devices and LCO doing their thing. They even do a reverse JOC into a tiger suplex near fall. Etsuko Mita's getting her Death Valley driver reversed. And now we're starting to see Mima Shimoda. She's come up with her own death move. It is the tiger driver, or the tiger suplex off the top rope. It's insane. She can't snap it at all, otherwise she might decapitate somebody. So she throws them backwards, but people still land very frightening on the back of their neck and shoulder blades. But yeah, look, Mita gets free reign to do the Death Valley driver at the end and wins the match. And this was she pins Takako. That is what my notes say, after all. It's been a while. I can't quite remember. But look, this is like a 4.5 star match. This was phenomenal. Minami Toyota mixing up with LCO, who just keeps getting better and better as 1994 went down. The phasing out of Akira Hokuto has done wonders for LCO. This was an incredible moves match, and the near falls at the end were tremendous. This was the best match, I think, in all of Tag League, and it's a must-watch. We have Maruka Yoshida having a variety of singles matches around this time. I believe, namely, there was 1 or 2 against Kyoko Inoue, in which eventually Yoshida just gets pinned in 10 minutes. They're treating Maruka Yoshida like a rookie coming back, and she's got to restart her career. And didn't really get that feeling at first, but that's how it's been happening. I'll skip over Aja Kong, Reggie Bennett against Hotta and Yamada. Lots of kicks, lots of big people doing lariats and whatnot. It wasn't very good. I would say if you're into the idea of the big women running into the kicky people, then this might get 3 stars out of you. I just think it was just way too slow of a match, and it doesn't have anything to do with really how badly they worked. Just not my style. So, that will lead us into, let's see, I think the end of the tag. So was that in September? The LCO Toyota Takaka match? Anyways. So we have Asari and Yoshida as a team. Okay, this was the one I was forgetting. Tomoko Watanabe and Rita Mata are a team. They don't have any good matches that I could find in there. Suzuka Minami, Kaoru Ito wasn't any good. They didn't have any good matches. I mean, when I see that, I'm like 3 stars tops is what I'm going. So it's not really worth going into. This Yamada Hota against Hasegawa Kyoko Inoue match was pretty bad. So don't watch that. Toyota Takako against Aja Kong and Reggie Bennett was actually pretty good. Namely for the fact that it was a very one-sided affair. I think that match took place on the last day because they had a last day tournament. I should just pull up what the schedule was around this time because we had. All right, I gotta go 1994. Gotta go back because I got 1995 up. Let's go to the last day of the Tag League on December 10th, 94. Yes, because we had playoff matches, and this is not the match I was... hold on. Am I right on this? Kyoko Inoue, Saki Asagawa, Toshi Yamada, Yumiko Hota. Yeah. Okay, so this began my notes of the final night. The first match was LCO against Ito and Suzuka Minami, which was like 20 minutes, not very good. Kyoko Inoue and Saki Asagawa take one on Toshi Yamada, Yumiko Hota, putting them at 9 points. And then from here on out, it was winner take all situations. So I mean, it definitely they tried to repeat what they did in 1993, essentially, with people wrestling in back-to-back matches and trying to overcome odds in varying degrees. Toyota and Takako end up wrestling 3 times on this night, which this is bizarre booking, because then they face Aja Kong and Bennett. They go 12 minutes, and how does this first match end again? Let's see. I got 2 stars written down for Kyoko and Hasegawa against Yamada and Hota. Okay, here we go. Toyota and Inoue against Bennett and Kong. I got at 3.5. Because is this the match that ends in the roll-up? Yes, this is the one. Okay, so this was done very well. Okay. Takako Inoue and Toyota get the shit kicked out of them for about 10 minutes, and then there's a miscommunication, and Toyota rolls up Reggie Bennett for 3, which got a massive pop from the crowd. I enjoyed this one. Cork and Hall explodes. What did they get for this? What are they saying? 2,000 number for Cork? Yeah, 2,100. Nonsense. I love how it all says sell out, and yet the number always changes. 2,300 this time, 2,000 this time, 2,200 this time, What are you missing seats compared to the previous day? Anyways. So then, because Kong and Bennett lost, they have to have a tiebreaker against Kyoko Inoue and Saki Asagawa. So Bennett and Kong win that one. That one I gave so many notes. I gave 2.5 on that, so that one was very good. And then, because of the booking, they have to run back on a tiebreaker situation, Inoue and Toyota against Kong and Bennett again. And this time, they go 17 minutes. So yes, they had just faced each other. Now they got to face each other again. So Kong and Bennett have to wrestle 2 matches in a row. They're tired. You see the story unfolding. Lots of bridging suplexes. This one was almost 4 stars because Toyota and Kong do very well together. And then when we move on to the finals, because Toyota and Inoue win again, this time in much more definitive fashion, namely I believe it was a top rope Doomsday JOC that won it. Now Manami Toyota and Takako have to face Kyoko and Saki Hasegawa because they won their tiebreaker to go to the finals. It's so wacky. So they have a 13-minute finals match against Toyota and Takako. Was this match any good? No, they're fucking exhausted. It was terrible. It was like 3.5 stars. They could barely move. They're absolutely worn down. They've all wrestled. This was two people's second match and two people's third match of the night. Absolutely crazy and asinine. I couldn't believe it. So your winners after this extremely wacky long tournament is Toyota and Takako Inoue. And you're like, wait a minute, isn't Double Inoue the champions? Yes, you are correct. So what are they doing? Well, Toyota then is like, I want to challenge for the tag titles at January 3rd at Korakuen. And they do that. And it's so goofy. So, essentially, you have a member of each side that has won and lost, and we're going to run back the tag finals with the partners switched. So I already mentioned what I thought of the Asuka, Yamada, Suzuki Minami Hota match that went to a 30-minute draw. This is a case where Asuka's she's still too much in the old style ways, and she's not adjusting. The only thing she's adjusting is, I will kick people harder, and that's what she does. So she's got some waking up to do. Jaguar Yokota is still very much also in that old style way, but she does a lot more lucha libre, so she's not as exposed. I was able to watch a little bit of that 1995 Jan 4 show, but the Jan 3 show is the more important one, and that's the one the Classics cover, namely because the main event is the 3WA tag title match, 2 out of 3 falls, Double Inoue defeating Manami Toyota and Saki Hasegawa in under 28 minutes, 2 falls to 1. This is damn near a 5-star match, 4.5 plus, 4 3/4, whatever you want to say. Saki Hasegawa gets a huge fall for fall 1 over Kyoko Inoue at just under the 14-minute mark, and it was a landmark type pin. This was Hasegawa's kind of... It was a huge cue that she was kind of next in line at this thing. She had very much the crowd behind her, and if you're wondering, what about the rest of the show on this? Aja Kong defeats Ito in like a 2-star match. I do not like Kaoru Ito. Aja Kong beats the shit out of this woman for 14 minutes. That part's enjoyable, but how well can it be? And then there was a bunch of rookies in the undercard. LCO defeats Asari and Yoshida, and it's just how they treat both Asari and Yoshida. It's kind of sad when Asari has so much crowd support around her because of her Sky Twister press, and then Yoshida has come back from injury, and they're seemingly just belting her in the ground. And then rookies. But back to this main event. This was phenomenal, and the Hasegawa pinfall 1 really brought it home. And then for the remainder of the match, the Inoues were like wrecking balls, okay? They really isolated Saki Hasegawa. They really wanted to put her down. And Manami Toyota was trying to be the equalizer, and she was fucking up moves left and right in this match, and it was hilarious, okay? She's attempting springboards, and she's slipping. She's fallen short on... look, she goes to the side on this match in Korakuen Hall, puts up a table, does a moonsault, barely a step up on the bleachers. Naturally, she goes splat. Nothing happens. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to do it again, brother. She goes up 3 more levels and then just does a splash. And do the tables break? Of course they don't. They just kind of fall over and then they get back in the ring. You're like, my God. And when you see people look at kind of the Shuri Mayu match that happened recently, and you're like, I don't know, man. Are they the same? Are they better? Are they worse? The heat's certainly less in this modern era. But what Japanese crowd isn't, I suppose. So, yes, the Inoues just isolate these two from each other. Namely, Saki Hasegawa first. She gets pinned in the next 5 minutes by Takako. I'm really glad they didn't have Kyoko just get a win back over her. And that would have really brought the match down to me a little bit because of that factor. And then the last near fall was because Asuka is now out, it's all up to Manami Toyota. She essentially has to face the tag champions alone. She lasts about another 10 minutes, and Kyoko gets the pinfall on her, going back to their All-Pacific rivalry, going back to what just transpired in Tag League. You get the idea there. So, Takako looks strong. Kyoko looks strong. The tag champions look very strong. And then we have something very bizarre happen in the post-match. Double Inoue vacate the titles. Why? Well, Wrestling Observer Newsletter from January 16th, 1995, as follows, and quote, All Japan Women open with shows on January 3rd and 4th at Korakuen Hall. The first night saw Kyoko Inoue and Takako Inoue retain the 3WA tag titles, beating Manami Toyota and Saki Yasugawa in a 2 out of 3 falls match that went 31 minutes, 32 seconds. After the match, the Inoues explained that there have been 99 different champions since the belts debuted in 1968, and they were vacating the titles because they want to go down in the records books as being the 100th champions. A tournament for the 100th champions will take place in late March at the Yokohama Arena show on March 26th or an Osaka show on March 31st. Hold on, stop. What? Okay. They do the convoluted playoff bracket thing of a 4-month tournament in Tag League, culminating with opposite partners winning and losing. They have a tremendous 2 out of 3 falls match on Jan 3 to have the titles vacated for the next 3 months? Sure. Linus Asuka worked both shows, while Jagger Yokota worked the Jan 4 show. Asuka and Yokota beat Saki Yasugawa and Kara Ito, while on January 3rd, Asuka and Toshimoto went to a 30-minute draw with Suzuka Minami and Yuki Hotta. Asuka, who was considered one of the best technical wrestlers in the world in her prime, come on, 20 to 25 years old, yes, fine, I agree, I guess, was out of her league with all of the new moves and the new style that's changed since her retirement, which was only a few years ago. However, to compensate, she worked stiff as hell, kicking the other girls like crazy, so she wasn't out of place. So Big Dave and I are on the same page there. I mean, it's very obvious when you watch it. She's trying to do wrist holds and wrist locks and doing some leg work, and everyone's bored. And then she gets up, and a good punt to Yumiko Hota's face really gets the crowd back into it. Oh, man. And if we want to go some kayfabe stuff here, at least from The Observer, we got some awards from 1994. All Japan Women finish 5th in Best Promotion as New Japan gets 4th, ECW gets 3rd, AJPW gets 2nd, and AAA gets 1st. How about that? Where did, let's see, All Japan got 1st in the previous year. Okay, let's do some more awards. Best Wrestling Card from a Major Show. All Japan Women Big Egg got 3rd place behind When Worlds Collide and the New Japan Super J Cup in 1994. Previous winners, All Japan Women has won the previous 2 with Marine Piad in 92 and Dream Slam 1 in 93. And then to cap off what we're doing here is a little recap. AJW Wrestle Queendom 2 on March 22nd had $1 million gate, 15,000. The Budokan on August 24th got $1 million at Budokan, 15,000 there again. Big Egg 4.3 million estimated November 20th. So 3 gates over $1 million for AJPW in 1994. So a very successful year despite the wacky booking, the questionable tournaments that they ran, which were ultimately meaningless in both instances. Is it their best year that I can sit here and say? No. I can point to a few years in the past. The first that comes to mind is Jackie Sato, Maki Ueda, and the crew in 79. The Ueda retirement show at Budokan. I think that capped off a good year. The boom period of the Crush Gals, namely 1985, sticks out to me. Yes, obviously they made more money than ever with the interpromotional wars, but in terms of like heat and how well they did and what I look back on, 1994 probably places in like the 5th place range. Now, historically, it's number 1 because you had the Big Egg, you had the interpromotional warfare throughout the year, but I think 1993 was the best one of them all. 1992, I'd place behind 1985. I really enjoyed 1985. 1986, I might even put still above 1992, but a lot of that has to do with Akira Hokuto. And based on now that we're through 1994 and what we've seen from the major stars of women's wrestling, to me, Akira Hokuto's number 1. Chigusa Nagayo's number 2, Jaguar Yakota's number 3. And then you start getting into my like personal preferences of like Dump Matsumoto, Devil Masami, Bull Nakano, right? Get those people in there. And then we'd be going a little bit different in kind of throwing in like a Jackie Sato, Maki Fumiaki to an extent. I don't think I'd put her above. Well, I'd have to think about that a little bit more, but off the top of my head, that's kind of where I'm at on this journey and everything we've seen and learned to this point. To me, no one's been bigger and more important than Akira Hokuto at this point in time. And then Chigusa Nagayo, because she was just a phenomenon of her era. Where does Lioness Asuka lie in that? Obviously, she's still extremely important, like Maki Ueda. You can't do one without the other to a point. But in terms of like a singularity, yeah, Chigusa was the bigger one, just like Jackie Sato was the bigger one. Looking forward to 1995. This has been AJW. There we go. Well, it's been an eventful couple of weeks to start the year of 2024 in the world of professional wrestling. Rickee, brand new year.
Yeah.
Brand new cocktail. As per your suggestion.
Yeah, what are you drinking? Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, this rusty brown looking thing you had me make. Well,
you can blame me.
According to the Playboy book, it is a Saratoga. Shake well with ice, strain into a pre-chilled cocktail glass. Success. Okay. 2 ounces of brandy, ½ ounce pineapple juice, a teaspoon of lemon juice, ½ a teaspoon of Campari, and a dash of bitters. Okay. Gonna try this. Well.
What is it?
Brandy and pineapple. Who knew?
Sounds good.
I wouldn't put it at the top of my list. I gotta start, like, spreadsheeting these suckers and ranking them. All these different cocktails I've had.
As one does.
I mean, who doesn't want to open up a notebook and rank things, or open up an Excel spreadsheet and put in dorky formulas for all the things they like? Like
You're
wrestling. I am a nerd.
You're a nerd.
Yeah. I'd also do it for a living.
I mean, yes, I do spreadsheets all day. I'm an accountant, so.
Nerd shit. All right. So, Miracle Generation versus the Grizzled Young Vets at the Blitzkrieg show was the best match of the new year, or to end the year, I should say. That was very fun. My annual wrestling show that I go to over in Worcester continues on for yet another year. I'm so sad you didn't get to go with us.
You know, it was just the way it worked out this year. You know, I normally try to plan my East Coast visits around seeing something in Worcester. But the weekend of the festival was the weekend that I was in New Jersey for family stuff. And obviously I'm going to prioritize my family over wrestling.
Lame.
I know. Well, and then
And
so
you
after
missed
that,
World's End too because of that
I
schedule.
missed World's End because I was doing family stuff, and so the part of New Jersey I was in is like all the way, like it's like practically Pennsylvania, super west, northwest. Actually, Hackettstown, where Gianna Perazzo is from, is like right where I was. But so yeah, that was the night of World's End. I was in her hometown. And then what else? Oh, right. And then I returned to Massachusetts, and Ali versus Gringo Loco was announced for GCW in Chicago, and I was like, well, maybe we can make that on the way home because we drove. And then there was like ridiculous winter storm.
Yeah,
that
hit it
weekend,
just
right?
at the right time. Yeah.
So yeah, I was really bummed. So like GCW, not only the weather was terrible, it sold out. And I was like, so when it sold out, I was like, well, maybe we'll go to WrestlePalooza in Minneapolis. Like I've always wanted to go to First Wrestling, Eric Cannon's promotion.
Okay.
And then winter storm. Where I was like, yeah, we are not going to Minnesota.
January in Minnesota. That's not ideal. I've made that.
Yeah.
I've made that drive a few times up near. Made that drive to like Minneapolis as well. Just living in Upper Michigan for the length of period that I did. Not a fun drive ever.
Yeah. So we ended up leaving my sister's house Friday morning, Friday the 12th. And we had planned to stop somewhere, like maybe like just short of like St. Louis. We were going to stop. Oh, and we went out of our way. We went really far south. We went towards Louisville, Kentucky, to try to avoid as much Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois as possible because the storm was running right through the Chicago area, right? So that took longer than normal. And then the weather just kept moving, and we're like, let's just keep going. We slept and drove in shifts. We never stopped for an overnight. We stopped as many times as we needed, so we weren't tired. But the only fun stop we made was in Kansas City. We went out of our way to get sandwiches from Guy's Deli. Guy's Snacks is like a regional chip brand. They make chips.
Okay.
But they have a deli where they make like insane sandwiches. And the reason I know about this is because they are frequent Twitter conversationalists with Anaya and Heidi Howitzer, the local wrestlers that I follow. So it was only like 15 minutes out of our way to stop and get sandwiches. And they were phenomenal. I'm so glad I did. It was nice to do like one fun thing because the trip was just not fun. Normally, like we enjoy those drives and they're kind of relaxing and you can.
Nah, you were stressing out about
zone
the
out,
storms
listen to
and everything the
podcasts,
whole time.
We were just so anxious. So it was nice to do one fun thing.
Yeah, you're cramping out on the wheel because you're just so tense the whole time.
Yep.
I know the feeling.
There were a couple. Yeah, there were a couple harrowing parts of the drive, but once we got to the other side of Kansas City, it was actually clear skies. But that was all by plan, right? Like we had looked at the radar and we're like, okay, we need to keep going, so it will be clear on the other side of Kansas City. So we got home at like 8 p.m. on Saturday. So 9 a.m. Friday to 8 p.m. Saturday.
Busy trip indeed.
Yeah.
So
anyway. And I've basically been binging wrestling since then because while I was on the East Coast, I was spending as much time with my family as possible. So I did watch Wrestle Kingdom live, but I didn't watch New Year's Dash until today. I didn't watch hardly any AEW until yesterday. So that's going to affect my opinion of these shows. The fact that I literally watched like 20 hours of wrestling in the past 2 days. So
I feel you. I'm kind of with
asterisk.
you. I'm kind of with you over.
Yeah.
So I watched as many as I could relatively live around New Year's, right? And then in between then and now, just over the last couple weeks, there's just been so much wrestling occurring, especially in Japan, in Japanese promotions, that things like Dragongate, which I wanted to check out how they're going to enter the new year, because a lot of promotions, when they enter the new year, or how they end the year, is, I don't want to say it's indicative of how they begin and how they go through the year, because a lot of promotions will do a big major change or revelation or something, and then they'll what ends up happening more often than not is they'll coast until April. So what's really the key is to see what they do on the next like couple shows after the big ones. So for example, with like AEW after World's End, how they entered in this TV era without the Continental Classic was very interesting to follow from that aspect. Is, are they going to continue with the sports entertainment that they have been doing for 2023, or are they going to now shift back to a more sports-oriented product that made people like me fall in love with it in the first place, and very happy that the promotion came into existence. Then you have New Japan, where it's contract season. It's always a tumultuous time for them. So a lot of foreigner contracts are coming up soon or due. Will Ospreay's coming. That's the big one. It's already signed with AEW. We talked about that and how I didn't really like that reveal beforehand. But, I mean, there's people ranging from the War Dogs to even Okada's contract is coming up, right? Tanahashi's become president. New Japan, how they're doing. I thought Wrestle Kingdom was going to be kind of the big key, and then how they were going to follow that up with something like Battle in the Valley and New Year's Dash. What is it going to mean? Right. And the schedule, I think, is very... I think it's a very positive sign to the direction New Japan's going. Instead of coasting, it feels like they're going to do what they did in like the 2017 era, where we look at the New Beginning cards in February, and we go, "Oh shit! I can't wait to see a lot of those matches. This seems fresh and interesting." So that's at least for the male promotions. In CMLL, unfortunately, I had to not watch every single thing I could possibly do. Just ran out of time. So CMLL, I will do my best to fully cover it on the next cast, and it'll essentially cover all of January. I was able to watch their end of year shows live, such as the Volador Andrade match that happened at the end of the year, which I really loved. That was a great match. So the Masquerada Dorada match is getting crazy reviews, and then the most recent Friday show from CMLL had a lot of streaming issues. So I was gonna watch that live, and then things didn't work out. I ended up going out to party with some friends instead. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of friends and. Well, I can't say family. Family is not in the state, but you get the idea. It's a lot of friends and hanging out and have a good time, enjoying vacation kind of deal. So what did So I played Shingo Takagi's music at the beginning of a lot of this. So the reason is I wanted to begin with a little Dragongate that I did get to see, and I could have sworn that Shun Skywalker was challenging Luis Monte for the title at one of these Korikens, and then it just didn't happen. So I have to assume, or I'm going to assume, that Monte is temporarily injured or something, or he had visa issues. I don't know what the reason is. They end up doing a Jackie Funky Kamai match against Shun Skywalker, and it was very heel Shun Skywalker that I really didn't enjoy when he was champion the last time. So don't really recommend that one. What I do recommend is the Masaki Mochizuki anniversary match against Shingo Takagi. That happened in the main event of their first Korakuen that got an inflated 1,400. They lie about their attendances very much these days. But regardless, the match was phenomenal. Very hard to reproduce their 2015 match that has been touted as the best Dragon Gate match of all time in that promotion. But they did a lot of the same beats and moves that they did in that match, so big callbacks and everything, and repeaters, as I call it. Match ended great. It was a great match. It's a full 3 recommendation. And Shingo Takagi is off to a phenomenal start to start the year. That includes his Wrestle Kingdom match. That includes his Battle in the Valley match. This man is the front runner in the rankings for Red Leaf Retrocast at the top of the year with 3 just incredible matches. So that's the Dragongate recap there.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, not much about any of the other shows. They're sending a couple. They got some rookies, tag matches. Not really into it. I'm ice cold on Dragongate, but at least the Shingo and Mochizuki match caught my eye. Watch that. Now for New Japan, let's talk some Wrestle Kingdom, shall we?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, so pull up the card here. We got... God, the cage match is insane. I'm really beginning to lean towards... Not beginning. I am leaning towards WrestlingData.net a lot more, .com. A lot more these days. Okay. So I got the card up. Tell me you watched it live. I watched it... Mm-hmm. I watched half of it live while I was at work because I go to work essentially when half the show's over.
Right.
Because my hours are insane. So a lot of 12-hour workdays these days. But anyways, look, 27,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, just under the Muto retirement show. Larger than last year, so year-over-year growth, getting back there. They even did as well as some of those Okada main events from their kind of quote-unquote boom period. So I think a very successful attendance with Naito, Sonata in the main event. Naito super over. Not sure if you knew that. What'd you think of the overall show, presentation, some people that stood out to you, what you liked, what you didn't like?
Yeah. So the first, I don't know if it's the first half of the show, the early part of the show moved very quickly and not in a nice way. The matches were, to me, not given enough time. The first, if we look at cage match real quick.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Everything was given about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it just felt rushed. But then I actually went to my Twitter from the previous year's Wrestle Kingdom, and I felt the same way last year. I mean, it's nice that they're giving the important matches the time that they deserve, but I don't like that it's at the detriment to other matches. But it wasn't until the never open weight title match that Tama Tonga versus Shingo that I really felt like I was watching a Wrestle Kingdom. Everything else but up to that point was very routine, kind of like pay-per-view quality for sure, but not Wrestle Kingdom matches to me.
Well, I will disagree with that quite heavily.
Okay.
I do agree that the matches were certainly on the shorter side. But in terms of past Wrestle Kingdoms, I thought the undercard was as strong as those 2017 ones, around that era where you had a hot Young Bucks match to start off the show. This one they had War Dogs, Catch 2-2, really bringing it. Yeah, it was only a 3-star, 3.5-star match, but the pace was still there, the energy, because I've watched some of these shows where the energy, namely World's End, was just so low and the matches went too long. So I would much rather the undercard be these quick hitters than kind of risk dragging on too long, because then by the time you get to the good matches, where I agree, the Tama Tonga Shingo match really ramped up the show from then on. It was all golden from there. I thought, well, not totally all golden, but I think they looked at the card that they made and they go, okay, what is going to give us the best matches available with this sort of talent, and how do we accomplish these things? Did Yuya Uemura and Tsuji need to go more than their 10, 11 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. They got, hopefully, plenty of career left to have longer matches of that.
Yeah.
Do we need House of Torture with Kaito Kiyomiya losing longer than 7 minutes? I don't think so at all, right? So when I thought about it that way, and while I was watching it, I just went, okay, I think a lot of these matches had the correct time frames. If anything, the Desperado Hiromu match was the one that underdelivered the most for me on the show.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, sorry, I don't have words. Words are hard. I just watched 20 hours of wrestling. This does not bode well for this episode.
Okay, I'll keep it going. All right, okay. I got some talking points. Do you think Yuya Uemura and Tsuji? Do you think the result was good? Because Tsuji just keeps losing.
Yeah, that is weird. I thought the match was good. I don't remember how I felt in the moment. Reflecting on it now, I think it was a weird choice.
So here's what I think the line of thinking is with that. They see him as a clear top star. He's already main evented a Dominion, right? Uemura is the one that came back from TNA. He needs some shine to be on him. And this was a huge opportunity for them to deliver that for the guy. And I think his entrance music is pretty kick-ass.
Yes. Sorry. Music. Yes. I'm not processing what you're saying. I'm so sorry. Okay. It's taking me a beat.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, the young president, took the title from Zack Sabre Jr. after all that time.
Yeah. I mean, that was planned before he took over, I think. It wasn't
no, that's less fun to think about it like
that. No, it's definitely more fun to make fun of it and be like, yes, I'm the president. Give me this.
I'm the president. Give me the young person title.
Yeah, I thought that match was really solid too.
I love how they came out initially and said it was going to be a young person title, and seemingly now it's the retirement title.
Yeah.
Total opposite.
Oh, and then there was the theme of everybody that wore white lost.
Yeah, and that really laid into the Okada entrance where his music stopped. That really took me aback. And the UV light changed it to not white.
Yes.
Or at least not plain white.
Amazing.
I like that. I like that touch. There was certainly a sense of artistry for certain moments during Wrestle Kingdom. This is the best Wrestle Kingdom in years. Even if I love the main event for sure. I really liked what it accomplished, what it did, how the crowd reacted. The crowd was just, I thought, phenomenal throughout the whole show, as good as a Tokyo Dome crowd could be. The motif probably isn't the right word. That makes it sound too pretentious and artistic, but with how Wrestle Kingdom has been since the pandemic, this was a massive step in the positive direction to get back to that 2017 era that I keep referencing. And having Naito win the title in the main event, do the roll call, the whole story complete. Hell, even the post-match angle with Evil coming out and repeating the risk of repeating what Kenta did. I mean, the crowd was molten. Go home. They're telling him to fuck off.
Yes.
And then they had Sonata make the save. The only thing I would change would be LIJ and past members, minus Evil, of course, do the fist bumps in the ring. But it was all about Naito. They made it all about him. So I understand. Just kind of wish it was more about the crowd being part of LIJ. Now, booking decisions. So we had a lot of title changes. Tama Tonga retained, of all things. No, I'm sorry. Tama Tonga won the title, and then he's saying his contract's done. So who knows what's going on there. Hikuleo and Phantasmo win the double tag titles. Desperado ends Hiromu's he was flirting with, I think, the longest junior title reign of all time. I think he only needed to hold it for a few more months. So Desperado wins that.
Okay.
Finlay wins the new global title, the new white belt in this promotion over Moxley and Ospreay in, would you say, lame fashion? Maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
So a lot of title changes, and Okada beats Danielson. What do you think of the title changes all throughout the show? Is it in the positive direction for champions or the negative?
What do you mean? Like, do you think? Do I think the current title holders are the right ones? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, basically. Is this the direction the promotion should be going? Based on their title holders. I know that's kind of a heavy kayfabe answer.
Yeah.
Or question, I should say.
I think some of them were the right call. Let me double check. I mean, Naito defeating Sonata obviously was the right decision. We talked about that title reign getting stale.
But
or
what
never
if,
really taking off.
So they're going back to Sonata Naito in the New Beginning tour.
Right.
Is there a chance Naito just loses it again?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I mean, Sonata's obviously good, doing this attitude change. I lost the belt. I need to get my edge back, whatever.
He was very emotional after his loss. It's very not Cold Skull of him. I think there's a good chance Sonata could win this title back. And I'm going to say this. You know how late last year, I kind of, for some reason, rewatched a lot of the Sonata title matches, and I came to this conclusion that all the title matches were good. They weren't fucking 4.5, 5 stars, but they were good. They all drew relatively well year over year. And if he wasn't over, the crowd wouldn't, show up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they more vocal with his challengers? I think that was the theme of his reign. And you run that risk when the champion isn't strong enough and you think that person can lose at any time. So when it came to Sonata and how they ended this reign, I think it was a good conclusion to his story, and I think New Japan made the right move by making him champion. I still stand by that. I think his reign was good. I think it accomplished what it set out to do. And with the whole Naito title change at Kingdom, now I think everybody wants to see Naito with a longer reign, but if Sonata puts a wrench in that, who knows what could happen. I personally don't think they should go the Sonata route part 2, but I think there's some people out there that really gave the Sonata run a bad rap and way too much negativity when I just don't feel like there's enough evidence to it other than the matches weren't 4.5 stars plus, right? Sometimes it's okay to have good matches than great matches. Like, were any of his matches bad? Right? Were they boring?
Right. I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when I'm watching this Wrestle Kingdom event, I'm like, okay, I'm not going 4.5. I'm still going 4.25. So nothing wrong with that at all. I loved it. I loved the finish. I thought it was extremely dramatic. They got me at the very end when Sonata's kicking out of Destinos and they're going back and forth, and there was multiple instances where I bit on the near falls because then I was like, I don't know who's gonna win.
Yes. Honestly, that was the best part of the whole show. Was I hadn't decided for myself going into any of the matches who was going to win, and I didn't know. I mean, we've been pretty critical of their booking as of late. This feels more like the New Japan that I, like you said, first started watching 2018.
Yeah.
So, yeah. good, but I think they're good booking decisions. I think New Japan and AEW are getting the feeling back.
I think our main promotions are going back to, or at least getting the feeling. I'll just use that. I was trying to avoid it, but now I can't help it. I think they're trying to go in that direction. They're realizing how they can get back to that point and feeling. And I thought Battle in the Valley was a phenomenal show in accomplishing that from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, what I still have pause on is David Finlay with their second top title. This is still something I'm certainly not into. We're still very Tongan heavy in the mid.
That's
mid-card.
fine with me. Although the decision to put the never open weight title on Tama Tonga when he's leaving in like 2 weeks,
supposedly
is interesting. But
okay, so quick fire.
Okay,
David Finlay.
Here's
what's up?
Yeah, go ahead.
David Finlay defeats Moxley and Ospreay, wins the global title. There's also Dolph Ziggler ringside. They get into it, leaps over press conference. Ziggler also showed up in TNA. He's signed there. He was also involved. What was it? I think he has a match in ML.
Matt Cardona challenged him for GCW.
GCW, yeah.
And that was made official like 5 minutes before we sat down to record.
Yeah, so Ziggler's clearly everywhere. He's got a fight in him.
Nick Nemeth.
Sure. I will call him the Ziggle Man for now.
Okay. Stop it. He was my first favorite WWE wrestler.
Ooh. Look, I like Ziggler.
He was my first favorite WWE wrestler.
Look, I am legit kind of pumped for Mr. Nick Nemeth, FKA Dolph Ziggler, in New Japan, specifically, because when a wrestler gets released or what have you,
mm-hmm.
and they immediately start showing up in XYZ places and doing things that they probably don't have any business doing with how much money they've made, maybe their self-proclaimed star power and everything. Ziggler has not gone that route. He's gone the fighting route, and I would say this. If he showed up in AEW, I would not be excited. Him in New Japan, totally different story. It's a different animal. Him just not being on American TV, I think, has way more potential. And we get to see a different side of the guy. We get to see a different style with the guy. What does the promos mean? I don't know. We'll find out. He's got a lot of adjusting to do after, 15 years in the Fed? So if the result is
20, he was there for ages.
Yeah.
I'm so excited he decided to go this route. I think we will see him in AEW in a year, 18
Some
months.
capacity,
I think he'll show up.
Yeah.
But
there's a chance.
I'm so glad he's doing it this way.
You know who else did it this way?
I mean, he literally has his... Huh?
John Moxley did it this way, too.
Yeah, he did. He's following the Moxley-Cardona path. Mustafa Ali seems to be following that same path as well.
To an extent,
he's selling out indies all over the place. To
an extent, sure, yeah. He has to go about it.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, he has to go about it in a very different route. Maybe Mustafa Ali can show up in the Best of Super Juniors. I'd like to see him do that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's phenomenal. Noah. I mean, he did show up at Battle in the Valley to challenge Takahashi, which I love.
Yeah, he had that promo video. So let's talk about that. So Battle in the Valley, there's New Year's Dash. I don't have much to say over New Year's Dash. It was a lot of trios matches and tags, a lot of setup stuff.
Okay, I'm very upset I didn't get to watch New Year's Dash live. it is. I almost look forward to it more than Wrestle Kingdom because you don't know the card and there's always surprises.
Yeah, like last year we got the Okada Omega tag match, which was excellent. I really like that.
And this year we got the Blackpool Chaos Club.
Yeah.
So, so it was fun. Nothing super, tear the house down. It was, everything was fine, right? But it's fun. It's a fun show.
So, Battle in the Valley, we had Ali challenging Takahashi, which I really liked. Good chance we see him in Boss J later in the year. We had...
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see. We had a very strong undercard. Vacker defeats Viva Van. Later, she challenges for the strong title yet again, her second chance. We had a good lucha match. We had Finlay defeating TJP in a match that vastly exceeded my expectations.
Yep.
Gorillas of Destiny, that's GODL as I cut out, defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs, Coughlin and Connors. I think that was totally fine. Julia defeats Trisha Dora. I like that match. And Joshi fans kind of tore it apart. I understand why. Oh yeah, but I thought it was Trisha Dora's like one of her best matches ever, which is why I'm kind of It's also kind of why I'm low on her as a total prospect. But she puts in more matches like this with strong opponents, she'll get better. Julia's contract's up. She's very much going to the Fed in like April or whenever when that happens. Yeah, boo. Matt Riddle is very much in New Japan now, challenging Tanahashi. He's in this match with Cobb defeating Bad Dude, Workhorse Tito, and ZSJ. You got thoughts on Matt Riddle here? Is it a little tug in the collar kind of deal?
I mean, I have issues with the man, so I wish he wasn't here. I just wish he wasn't on my TV. There are issues that.
All right. Well, here's a hard question I'm going to pose to you.
Okay.
If there was an investigation, like a thorough investigation, kind of like what Ring of Honor and Sinclair did with Marty Scurll, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They did their investigation. They gathered the facts, interviews, etc., did all the legwork needed, and then came to the conclusion, whatever it might be, A or B. Would you feel differently?
No, because then I'm not. I don't only have a problem with the things other people have accused him of doing. Mm-hmm. I also have a problem with the fact that he accused a random TSA worker of sexual assault and got that person in trouble, and then later came out and said no, that I was just angry and I made it up. Like, I have problems with that. So
that's a problem. Yes, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I was also trying to tie that into the Jericho thing as well. That's ongoing.
Yeah. Again, the ongoing Jericho thing. No one's actually accused him of anything. It's all rumor and speculation.
Right. So, it's very strange. So you can't treat everything equally.
That one I'm not even going to weigh in on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the listeners know how I feel about Jericho in the wrestling sphere, and I think as a person. I don't go on the Jericho cruise every year for Jericho. Jason and I were actually just talking about skipping all of the Jericho-related events.
Right.
So, he's not my favorite person, but I'm not holding him accountable for something that no one's even actually accused him of doing.
Yeah. So Matt Riddle,
that's different. It's very different.
Well, I appreciate the answer. It's sometimes those questions are like hard to like come out and do, but sometimes you got to say them. Eddie Kingston, Gabe Kidd go to a double count out for the, I guess, 3 titles. It's not really clear if all 3 are ever on the line.
So here's the thing. They said after the tournament that the titles would be defended separately. And
they did say that? They did say that?
They did.
I don't recall that.
They've only been defended together so far. Yuta on Rampage challenged for all three. And then this Battle in the Valley, what's-his-face said, I only want the New Japan Strong title. And then Eddie was like, no, I'm going to put them all on the line. So, I don't know.
It's very weird. They need to come to a consensus
very
conclusion.
Weird.
Yeah. Because I've just been calling it the Continental Crown.
That's what they're calling it.
Okay.
When maybe they're all three being defended. But I do believe aside, they can and should be defended separately.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think they got to choose one or the other. But that aside, this Gabe Kidd Kingston match had so much heat and fire and somehow got me real hyped for a count out.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking ruled. I loved it. And then that was followed by Jon Moxley and Shingo Takagi in 26 minutes, killing the shit out of each other with so much stuff and things. and who's a what's-its? You know, it's... I listened to Japanese commentary watching this, and the Japanese announcer, when Shingo revealed he was in like street clothes, they're just like, "Oh, street clothes! Look at him!" I'm like dying. They're just like, "Oh man, Moxley, you be careful."
Man, I love Shingo so much, man. Like,
God, like, look at this. Look at this. His match against this is just cage match, okay? You can also go to Wrestling Data, and it's like 5 out of 6 plus, right? Tamatagi is an 8.2 in a 13-minute match at Wrestle Kingdom, a 9 from Battle in the Valley, and his Mochizuki match has an 8 plus. I mean, this guy is just quality in the first 2 weeks of the year. Like, it's the output of this man is still incredible. This is why he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and he's at this age. Like, yes, he's at an advanced age in his career, but he's still pumping bombers off the ropes and decapitating heads. While I don't know if you watched that Kota Ibushi Marufuji match from Noah a couple weeks ago.
No,
don't watch it. Not. It's sad. It's so sad.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Don't watch that. So Moxley and Shingo just beat the piss out of each other. There's chairs they're dropping each other on. Just a heavy use of creativity and using the weapons and making it feel like a fight. And then that was followed by Okada and Ospreay going out there for almost half an hour and having a G1 level match that was extremely enjoyable. Wouldn't have it any other way. I love the pre-match video where it showed Ospreay and Okada's record going over the course of the years, and it just shows how much Okada has this dude's number and how Ospreay finally beat this man clean without help in last year's G1. And it kind of didn't have the same effect as when he had the help with P. Priestley, of all people. So I kind of wanted Ospreay to win this match super definitively, but Okada's still better than him. That's what they're telling me. How'd you feel about everything from Battle in the Valley and some certain matches here?
I thought it was a really good show. Really just solid everything from top to bottom. Not bored, no real duds. I mean, whatchamacallit? What are they called? Oh my god. We're the terrible people that suck.
House of Torture?
House of Torture! I love how I could say the terrible people that suck and you knew what I meant. Yeah.
I've reached the next level of friendship.
Yeah, thank you for translating for me. I mean, everybody hates House of Torture. I don't understand what they're doing. What are they doing? Why does everybody hate House of Torture? What can House of Torture do better? What can New Japan do better with House of Torture?
Do not know. Couldn't tell you. All right.
Anyway, yeah, good show. Very good show. I loved the Moxley Shingo match. I really liked the women's match a lot. I really liked it. And
crowd sure loved it. The crowd was excellent on the show. The San Jose
it was
crowd.
A great crowd.
Yeah, they've really cultivated. I think New Japan has cultivated themselves a fan base in San Jose doing this annual show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mercedes Moné, whom assumingly is coming to AEW, I think she had a big part to play in that, in getting people interested in going to a New Japan show in that area of the country. So that led to putting on this sort of show. And I'm a firm believer in, when you visit somewhere, you put on the best show you can, and that will entice people to go back the next time.
Yep.
Right?
And
don't neg or hold back on like a match just because it's in X place, as opposed to okay, the best example is Japanese promotions don't give like Kyoto, Hiroshima, and Osaka especially the A show. It's always in Tokyo. So then that kind of deters people in those cities from seeing the show, because they know, oh, the Tokyo show is going to be better. And then they have to like save up and travel, and then they don't go to the local shows. Yeah.
That's stupid.
So New Japan, off to a hot start. Hell of a start.
Yes.
A lot of questions during contract season. I've loved all the Shingo matches especially, and I'm very curious to see how the New Beginning tour ends around, because I haven't been this excited about like a true New Japan New Beginning in quite some time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited. I've been off New Japan because, I mean, we've talked about it. It just hasn't felt the same. And these couple shows, storing the feeling.
So we are, what are we in? 45 minutes into this thing, and we basically just touched on New Japan the whole time. That's a new one. That's a fresh one, I should say.
Well, I mean, there's not often 2 New Japan shows back to back that we need to talk about.
That's right.
3 shows.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play the next drop, and I'm going to hit you with questions. How about that?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Drop
You
time.
didn't prepare me for this.
Thank you, Hangman Adam Page. So I recorded the last episode solo, basically, and didn't get your World's End thoughts, Rickee.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's true. I was not ready to talk about World's End because I forgot we had it.
Samoa Joe won the title via choke.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Cole is revealed as the Mystery Man.
Of course. I mean, duh.
Yeah. Who is not Scott Steiner, by the way. Or Rick Steiner, mind you.
What? People thought it was Scott Steiner? What?
No, it's my WCW joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it.
You will in time with WCW.
Okay, World's End. Okay. Pulling it up. Okay. Blackpool Combat Club versus Brody King, Jay Lethal, Jay White, and Roosh.
Uh-oh. Am I shaky? Am I staticky?
No, you're okay.
I'm okay?
You're okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Hit my mic. I'm very nervous these days about it.
Oops.
Okay. Carry on. I'm going to get myself some rum love.
Okay, I'm just looking. I'm looking at everything. Okay, I think the best thing on the show was Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, right? Like, that was the best. It was phenomenal. I thought the match was great. I loved Edge winning, and I loved Christian bullying Luchasaurus into giving up his thing right away. That will have ramifications for weeks and weeks and weeks. So that was the best part of the show. Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley was phenomenal.
See, I thought that was the best thing on the show.
Just
we didn't really mention Okada Danielson. Great match.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean,
damn good wrestling match, wasn't it? Oh yes, I agree, love.
Yeah, I'm still not sure which match I prefer of theirs. The first time I watched the Wrestle Kingdom match, I was like falling asleep, and then I decided to give it another shot yesterday, and I don't think I was totally invested in it. It's obviously a phenomenal work of art, but I think I preferred their first match.
So it's tough for me to say because I was at the first one live in Toronto.
Oh,
so I'm like,
yeah, true.
In my mind, I definitely liked it more. But then, on the flip side, I liked the Omega Ospreay Wrestle Kingdom match more than the one I saw live. So it's kind of funny how it flip flopped with Okada Danielson. But I think without the Don Callis thing at Forbidden Door, I may have liked it more. But that Wrestle Kingdom match just hit me so on a different level. The Okada Danielson was just solid wrestling from bell to bell. The lack of stakes is what held it back for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, so AEW. What do you think? Samoa Joe's champion? MJF's on the shelf? They're doing kayfabe contract of 2024 war thing, I guess. Haven't truly brought it up. What say you?
Putting the title on Joe was the right choice. I think we talked about that before the show.
Yep.
I didn't hate the finish of the match as much as everybody else did. I don't think it was executed quite as the way that they wanted, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it really, I think, like, it was the whole dropping the arm for 3 and then the ref going, huh?
Right.
It just comes off as flat, and it was always going to come off as flat doing it that way. It needed to be more definitive. Like, they could have still done a choke, but he needed to really, like, put this dude into the fucking mat before getting him in there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he just kind of grabbed him from behind, and it was very uneventful.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought the Adam Cole reveal also, like, duh.
Yeah, I just kind of shrugged my shoulders.
I think unless it was going to be, I don't know. I don't even know who it could have been that we would have reacted differently. But it kind of was whatever.
The big what if and who if would have been Jungle Boy, Mr. Jack Perry, who is now in New Japan.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that.
No, I purposely did this. So, yeah. So Jack Perry is not the devil, who would have been like people's number 2. And instead, he jumps Shota Umino and tears up an AEW contract, presumably his. We don't know. It just said AEW on it. It was just a piece of paper. And he has an armband that says Scapegoat.
Yep.
So we're doing something with Jack Perry in New Japan. Now, my concern with Jack Perry isn't the fact he's in New Japan or he's from AEW. Is he only going to be confined to New Japan Strong?
I mean, maybe.
If that's the case, I have an issue with it.
But no. But he jumped shooter, so no, it shouldn't just be Strong. He jumped shooter. He should be in Japan.
Right. He should be on tours, feuding with his sexy beard and everything.
Yep.
Man bun, drinking IPAs, I'm sure. He's old enough, I swear. He gives me like straight up California hipster vibes, like so hard, and I'm just like, that's a douchebag right there.
I have a selfie in an elevator with him and Anna Jay from the last cruise that I don't even remember taking because I was that lit.
You were as lit as me going that 300 that one time?
Oh.
Because, oh my God, did I feel it the next day. Holy shit.
Oh, I bet you did.
I was, look, I was definitely like headache all day. I just stayed in bed, watched TV.
Did you go to work?
No, I had the day off. That was by design.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I would have called out, but no, the reason why I had no reservations of just like, we're drinking heavily tonight. Perfect game and no work tomorrow. Let's go.
I mean, the heavy drinking started before the 300.
Come on. That was motivation.
I made you give me your keys. I made you give me your keys. I don't know, between games 1 and 2, maybe halfway through game 2.
You say made like it was a force.
No. Yeah, no. It was not. There was no argument. Like you had decided that you were going to drink.
Oh, yeah, I should do that. You're right.
Sorry, that did.
Just in case I like totally forget I have keys. Here you go.
Yes, exactly.
God, that was funny.
What a fun night, though.
Yeah. Jason, you spilled beard. Spilled beard. Spilled beer. You stepped in it. Damn it. You did it again.
Yeah.
Okay. AEW, we're talking about that.
Jason is very upset he didn't get to finish his top 10, by the way, or his top 14. He's not actually upset. I asked him if he wanted to jump in tonight, and he's like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm good. That drunken fool interrupts me a lot. Okay, so Dynamite, AEW, started off the year hot. Orange Cassidy defeats Dante Martin. Mariah May makes her debut and defeats Queen Aminata, who is now signed to the promotion by all signs. Had a good match on Rampage against Hikaru Shida, by the way. Mariah May gets interrupted by newly signed Deonna Purrazzo from New Jersey, in which she was very emotional. Look, this women's division, lots of good strides. They shed some weight with contract season, and they've made nothing but good signings. Keep it up. That's why I gotta say, prove my doubt wrong. Prove my doubt wrong. That's what I say. You with me on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so hard to get excited about the women's division in AEW, but all signs point towards something changing.
The talent's getting stronger. The matches are clearly improving. But the booking is still exactly the same right now, where it's Timeless Tony, one match a show, and we move on.
I agree with that. But I also think, so all signs are pointing towards Mercedes coming at some point. And they need to build credible challengers for her. Otherwise, what is the point of her being there? She's just going to stomp all over everyone. So they need to build, keep working on Tony, build Deonna, build Mariah, build Serena. Jamie Hayter is going to be coming back at some point. Britt Baker has got to be back at some point. So those are going to be Mercedes' first challengers. And then
this is what I said on the last podcast, right? In case you didn't listen. You bring Mercedes in, everything changes. It has to.
Yep. It has to.
You can't just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing for 4 years.
Yep.
Anyways. Konosuke Takeshita bodied Darby Allin for 12 minutes. It fucking ruled. That's what this guy should have been doing for months and months and months. Are you muted?
No. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. That match was amazing. I almost went back to rewatch it immediately after having watched it. Like,
they followed that hockey match that they called a wrestling match with a tag match involving Sting and Darby against Hobbs and Takeshita, in which Darby got ragdolled yet again. I mean, you want to talk about like game misconducts? They threw his neck into the ropes, and that guy's not well.
Oh yeah, that I did not like. I liked everything about the match except for that, because that is how you get internally decapitated.
Yeah, a lot of things go wrong when that shit kind of happens. Let's see. Trent Beretta is still Workhorse Friday Night Man. I like that. Swerve Strickland, Daniel Garcia had a strong single. So this was what I was looking for post-Continental Classic, is like this kind of show. And then they had a good collision. They had the Homecoming show, Battle of the Belts. The Homecoming show was headlined by the Sting, and the Sting reveal of his last match is going to be with him and Darby against the Young Bucks. So no singles match. They're doing the tag route. And I am very much in favor of this. And here's why.
Me too.
Here's why. Sting
Go for it.
knows he can't do singles matches anymore. Okay?
The man is 64 years old.
The man's 64. They can still treat him as a legend, and they can protect him and not make him look like an old fool in there. And with Darby Allin doing the bumps, it continues to hide all the flaws at his advanced age. So now the Young Bucks come in, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, a linchpin of this promotion, and boy, was their absence felt at the last pay-per-view. And for them to be involved in the Sting retirement match and Darby Allin in the Carolinas, in that territory, I think it's a match made in heaven. I think they're going to do all they can to make this match great and make it count. A singles match would just make me feel sad. I've seen so many old timers just not know when to hang it up, and then they have one last singles match, and it's just they're on the mat, they get hurt, something always goes wrong, and it's never how it's kind of made out to be. This is a best case scenario, and I really hope AEW, the Young Bucks, and Sting himself really brings it to Revolution when it matters. This is one of the biggest retirement matches next to Muto. Muto faced Naito, and I honestly did not like that match. I didn't like most of Muto's last 10 years of his career because of how busted up he is. And to see Sting go out like this instead of that in the way Muto went out, this is a huge positive step. And oh my God, there are angry people that the Young Bucks are the ones in this match. And it's like salivating levels of cope. It's so funny.
This match is going to fucking rule. The Bucks are at their best when they're being smarmy heel Bucks. Mm-hmm. And they are just going to be the dickiest dicks that ever dicked in this match.
I mean, they came out in wardrobe I can't even describe. They look ridiculous, and I would not have my wrestlers look anything other than ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially heels.
I love them so much, and it's gonna rule.
Any other thoughts on AEW? I like the start that they're doing. I like the directions. I think the biggest news was the Young Bucks and Sting, and just how they've started the year. What do you think?
I think it's looking good. I think. Okay. Do I have other thoughts? I don't know.
Samoa Joe Hook, that's coming. Smojo against Paige and Swerve.
Care.
That's not over. Look, it's a little TV match. I got no issue with Joe and Hook. Put that teenager in the ground, I say. All right.
Yeah,
What?
I'm not on the Hook train. I don't understand it.
Well, he's when your girl boss is hard as him, and maybe you've lost a little sliver of being over, then things don't go well.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
what?
Okay.
What? You don't know how to girl boss?
No, I guess not.
I love it. I've been messing with people at work with like those Gen Z terms. It's very funny to me. Okay. Enough of my my terrible sense of humor right now. I'm going to play the Nitro theme and then
Okay.
Nitro, here we go. Oh boy. WCW Nitro. Look, we got an episode off. We didn't have to watch it during the holidays. That was very nice. And here we are back, March 6th, 2000, from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Hey, what do you know? 4,600 people in attendance. We are ever so closer to uncensored 2000. Jeff Jarrett versus Sid Vicious. Are you excited?
It was kind of.
Oh. Okay.
Sid Vicious is the best thing going right now in WCW, so.
He is. Sid Vicious absolutely rules. He's the one thing that's I always look forward to. No matter what he's doing, he is the best. And they're not believe it or not, the short matches that Russo books with Sid Vicious works for the guy. Go out there, hit a couple boots, powerbomb a guy, look scary, say you're the ruler of the world, and pin someone. And then we're fucking done. Forget it. It works. If Sid Vicious is in a long match, he puts in nerve holds, and he's fucking boring. Can't stand him. But in this sense, he rocks.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me...
Were you enjoying Jeff Jarrett in his titty brigade that he flaunts around throughout the show?
I did enjoy that.
And he's always he's like, hit the bricks, toots, get out of here. Make sure your tits hit the door on the way out. And he's flaunting his guitar
slut
around.
Nuts, yeah.
Yeah, slut nuts. Yeah, that was funny.
Did he say slut nuts?
I think he did.
That
if not, then
great.
that's a Freudian slip that we were doing.
Okay. So
if he never said that, that's a missed opportunity.
we'll have to ask him. I don't know if he's going to be on the cruise. Ooh. Wait, what day is today? Today is the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go to the cruise
we need to preview
next
the
week,
cruise. Right? Yeah. We need to preview the cruise, and then next time we're not going to be able to record until the 31st.
That's fine. So there was a Psychosis Kaz Hayashi match that we don't care about. There was Fit Finlay choking Vampiro to teach him respect. Oh, can't wait for that match.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god. So normally Jason does not watch WCW with me.
Oh, he watched it with you?
This one he sat through because we had been binging wrestling for 20 hours, right?
Sure,
and I was like, fuck, I need to watch WCW. And he's like, fine, I'll just, whatever, stay here.
Is this on your Plex? Is that how you're watching it?
This one I watched on Peacock.
Okay.
On your Peacock.
Yeah. Well, that sounded weird.
On your Peacock? I watched it on your Peacock.
I watched Nitro on your Peacock. Oh, it burns.
Would you like me to say it again in my 900 voice? I watched it on your Peacock.
Fucking unbelievable. Oh, no.
Okay. What were we talking about? Because I had stuff so Jason watched, right?
Yeah, okay.
That's where we were. Okay. Why did I bring that up, though? It was important. He said something really funny. Let me go back to my notes. Did I write it down? Something you said reminded me of something he said, and now I can't remember.
Oh, man. Hate it when that happens. Let me tell you.
All right. It'll come back to me.
All right.
It's important. It was really funny.
So the point, I guess, of this Juventud Kaz Hayashi match is obviously has to be overbooked. It's Russo. Can't keep up with the million things that are going on. But Vampiro gets beat up, and he's somehow in the main event.
That was it. It was Vampiro.
Okay. Something about Vamp. Gotcha.
So I forget exactly what Jason said, but I was criticizing Vampiro or saying something about it, and he goes, well, and Jason says something like, well, but you have to wait until you play his music.
Oh, man.
You remember that from the Lucha show?
Yeah,
a bunch of years ago
from AAA. Yeah, play my fucking music.
Play my music.
Yeah, he's farting on commentary. Oh my god, disaster.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that tangent, but it was fucking funny in the moment.
So
okay, so
they book Sid and Vampiro against Jarrett, and I thought both the Harris brothers. Maybe one of them. I don't know. It wasn't really clear. And then over the course of the show, the Harris brothers keep coming out, busting up matches like they have been doing the last couple weeks. And then they get arrested by the police because I guess they shoved someone out of the ring. And they're flabbergasted they're getting arrested. And great promos by these guys going, hey, Jarrett, save us. Do something. Thumbs up, let me tell you.
Before they get arrested, there's a backstage NWO segment where they are just sitting in a black void.
Yeah, they're like on couches with black walls. It's very strange.
It is a black void. And then after the arrest...
It's like a thespian practice
They
arena.
go backstage. And you can see that this black void is a room that's been set up. And they just put black curtains up to block whatever is actually in the room.
Yeah.
Which really took away. I really liked the black barren nothingness. But I don't understand the point of the match. There was so much interference. It was like 90 seconds. Not even 90 seconds. It was under 60 seconds, according to Cage Match.
Fantastic. It's all great. Well,
but also, fucking Mark Madden on commentary is like, WCW should, police itself and blah blah blah. Mark Madden is on commentary makes me miss drunk Bobby Heenan.
Drunk Bobby Heenan.
Mark Madden is so bad.
Not giving a shit about the show was phenomenal. Mark Madden is your atypical. I'm a heel. I'm also going to try to be cute with everything on commentary. He's essentially Matt Stryker. If you've heard Matt Stryker on commentary, it's ass, filled with assness, 6 packs of ass. Now, I will give Mark Madden credit for one line. You ready for this? I wrote it down. Okay. It was during the Ron Harris Big Vito match. So the Harris brothers before they get arrested. And Vito, Mr. Italian guy, boots Harris in the face. Like Masahiro Chono, and Tony goes to Mark Madden, Mark, would you call that a mafia kick? And Mark Madden responds, I'd call it an Italian-American heritage kick.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
I did enjoy that.
I enjoyed that one.
But also, Mark Madden is so bad.
Yeah, he's an awful.
It makes me realize how. It makes me realize how good Tony Schiavone is. Throughout this entire episode, Tony Schiavone was just coming out with shit, and I was just like, man, he is so good. So good.
Tony Schiavone, compared to everyone else on the show, is fucking Mike Trout on the Angels. Like, this guy's hitting 3 home runs a game, and they're still losing 7-3.
Yes, exactly. It's like when CC Sabathia was single-handedly winning games, right? Because he would pitch, 8 shutout innings and then hit a home run.
Well, that would imply WCW will get a win every now and again. No, I'm going to one-up you on the pitcher reference. This is Jacob deGrom on the Mets having a 1.77 ERA, and he has a 9-10 record. There you go.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, lots of Italian guys. They're doing shit. Some H-bombs. The arrest happens. And then we cut to David Flair, and it's his 21st birthday. This guy's 21? Really?
No, didn't he say it was his, 5th 21st birthday or something?
Did he say that? Because he does not look 21.
He said something.
He looks like late 20s. You know what? I don't care. I don't care to fact check. They say he's 20. They say he's 21. He's 21. Who cares? The man can finally drink, and guess what? He's going to go get beat up by the wall, and they're doing random, Thunder cuts and stuff. They have cut down on, how much shit happens on Thunder that we miss. But they're really pushing the wall hard on the show. They showed him on Thunder putting crowbar through a table, and they act like it's an act of murder. So they do the same to David Flair. All of Ric Flair's past acquaintances are very judgmental that Ric Flair wasn't out there for his son. Then later, they cut to Ric Flair on the mic, and he goes, "He's an adult. He needs to learn how to fend for himself. But look, I'm Ric Flair. Woo! Where the ladies at? I got a match." And I'm like, you know what, Ric Flair, you're right. He's in the wrestling business. David Flair should be able to take care of himself. If he wants to be like Rick, then he better take a licking. That's what I say.
I looked it up. This actually was his 21st birthday.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
March 6th, 1979.
Okay. The Dog versus Evan Courageous. Whew. The Dog, yeah. I think it's Brian Knobbs. I think that's what they're calling him. Who cares? Yeah, who cares? So
who's this person?
I don't know.
I don't even remember this. I watched it.
Oh, maybe this was cut out from Peacock. Because I have a downloaded version.
I mean, no. There was I could check it. So the reason why I went away from our Plex episodes and went to Peacock because some of the stuff we had downloaded was truncated. So I was like, well, Peacock will be better. There was definitely, I remember the boy band segment. But they were
so
I just don't remember
all
this.
Throughout the show, they're also doing MTV things with Rickee Rackman still. And
yes.
This was definitely cut out from the Peacock feed. Because they gave this guy red contacts and he's biting people. Don't worry about him. He was so this guy was part of I think it was the Master Blasters tag team. I no idea who his tag team partner. I remember he was Blade or Laser or something. They were trying to do something with American Gladiators, and it didn't work out. Shocker, I know. But as for 3 count, they are all 3 of them the Cruiserweight champions. Okay, or are they the Hardcore champion? Who cares? And all throughout the show, they're also doing Rickee Rackman MTV things where they're saying 3 count is a boy band and all the women love them. and there's never women around him. They have a Nitro girl kind of hanging out. They're so cringe. This group is awful. And it's just, as you watch this, nothing is as obvious as the lack of star power until you see the Ric Flair Kurt Hennig match that randomly happens later in the show. Actually, I think it's like right after this. Right after Jeff calls everyone like slut nuts and stuff and get out. So it's Kurt Hennig, Ric Flair.
Slut nuts.
Yeah. Kurt Hennig.
Slut nuts. Oh, man, I'm just slut nutting all over the place, man. Yes, those words just came out of my mouth. This drink was really full when I started. This was full of wine.
Hell yeah. The next time you watch a wrestling match and come on the show,
nuts.
you got to be like, oh man, that Shingo Takagi match, that made me slut nut so hard. And I'll be like, oh man, my drywall didn't stand a chance. It was destroyed. All right, this has gone on way too long. We're terrible. So Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair have a good match ended by interference. Yeah, we have to do this. More Nitro Party stuff. They do... Hennig's taken out in an ambulance. Flair and Luger beat him up. They like hit him with a bat and shit. We have a terrible Norman Smiley match. Let's see. Tank Abbott is still beating up people. He beats La Parka on this one. There's Goldberg chants in it. I think they're piped in. Kidman without Booker T against Harlem Heat 2000. This was ass of assness as well. Ends in DQ.
Yeah, that was...
And then we get Jeff Jarrett and The Wall, who replaced the Harris Brothers, against Sid Vicious and Vampiro. They try to have a match. It's just a host of people. It's very Memphis territory style booking. Ends with Jarrett hitting Sid with a guitar and pinning him. An actual very boring main event, to be honest, as opposed to the Crash TV the rest of the show was, and some random shit we don't care about. So, yes, we are on the road to Uncensored 2000, Jeff Jarrett, Sid Vicious, and Jarrett has pinned Sid Vicious twice, I think in consecutive weeks. How about that? Slut nuts.
Slut nuts.
Yeah. Doesn't work as well when you call someone that.
And then Dustin Rhodes challenges Terry Funk.
Oh my God. Oh. Almost forgot. Holy shit. That was the best thing on the show and possibly the best thing in WCW in the last 2 years. Okay. So in the middle of the show, thank you. It would have been egregious to me to not recap this in full. So, Dustin Rhodes comes out and he's got a beef still with Terry Funk. Okay? And he's cutting... Mark Madden's on commentary talking about his 7 gimmick. No gimmicks here. Just hard wrestling. Hard man being hard. Right? And then Dustin Rhodes proceeds to cut a hard promo about hard times and being hard. You get it? They're dick jokes. In case you weren't following.
That I got.
Yeah. And Dustin Rhodes proceeds to cut a promo about internet fans being shitty, not knowing what they want, the message boards, and he didn't say dirt sheet. He said some other phrase for him, but he meant, he was talking about like Meltzer and Wade Keller. Yeah. And how they're exposing the business. He's totally doing all this on a live mic. This is the big promo, and I'm rolling my eyes harder than ever. I'm like, oh, dick jokes, and we're breaking kayfabe. Awesome. How could we also ruin this? But then Terry Funk is out here to save the day. All Texas man. And he has a trash bag in his hand. And he's cutting a promo similar to what he would do with Dusty Rhodes. He's calling him, he's an egg sucker. Lots of Southern phrases. Probably nobody in 2024 even remembers. And then he gets in the ring with this trash bag. And it's kind of like dripping weirdly. And then he says, very awkwardly, like he's half drunk, kind of like you and I right now. And he goes, "All right, Dustin, I got your little brother in here, because your father was an egg-sucking fool." And my first thought was, this man is going to pull out a fake fetus.
I didn't know where he was going with this.
I thought he was going to pull out a fake fetus, and I'm like, oh no. Do not pull out the fake dead fetus. Don't do that. That is bad. Instead, he pulls out a raw, like, rotisserie chicken with a diaper on it.
With a diaper.
And flops it around, and you hear the fump on the mic. And I'm just going, ah! That is the most ridiculous thing ever. And then he goes, "And your little brother's dead!" And he winds up with his, like, non-dominant hand, so it looks terrible. You ever see someone throw with the wrong hand?
Yeah.
It looks awkward, and it looks like it's not pretty. So he throws it at Dustin. Dustin kind of ducks. And the chicken does an arc halfway across the ring, hits Dustin in the side of the face, and you hear the and it hits the mat. And then they start brawling. And Terry Funk gets the better of it. Dustin hightails it. Terry Funk has his, like, half-torn shirt like he got in a hockey fight, and he picks the raw chicken up. It's dripping, and he's flailing it around again. And Mark Madden and Tony Schiavone's going, "He's crazy!"
Oh my god.
It's the greatest. The best Nitro moment of 2000.
I don't know, man.
Come on, it is.
It was not so, is what I meant to say.
So we got Jeff Jarrett, Sid Vicious for the world title, and Terry Funk and Dustin Rhodes in a grudge match after this chicken fight.
How old is Terry Funk at
this time? Oh, I think he's like 55 in 2000. We can do that.
He's old already, right?
Oh yeah, he's already old at this point. Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Let's see, Wiki.
Just checking.
Terry Funk.
Let's see, he was born in
1944.
So he's almost, so he's like 50, 55.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he'd be 56 at this point in time. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, it depends on whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever. He's old.
56. Yeah.
Man, the dude's old, and he's throwing raw chickens and diapers at Dustin Rhodes on live TV.
And he's old era old. He's not Dustin Rhodes at 55 old.
Yeah, he's not doing well.
Chris Jericho wrestling at.
I don't know.
He's not Chris Jericho 52. He's not Sting 64. He is old.
Well, he certainly looks older than all of them. He can still do moonsaults and shit. So, yeah. Nitro 2000, the road to uncensored. You're excited. I can see it.
What?
You're excited.
What?
Yeah.
For what?
Uncensored 2000.
Is that next?
I think it's in 2 weeks. I think we still have the go home show.
Hang on. Okay, hang on. We're on March 6th.
Yes.
Then we have a Nitro, and then an uncensored, and then a Nitro.
Yeah, so we have the go home show and then Nitro.
Nitro from Providence, Rhode Island.
Yes, they were teasing going to the dunk all show.
It's the go home Nitro. Okay, so I dove into something really interesting because they were also talking about coming to Denver and going to the Pepsi Center. And I was like, that is ambitious for this show in the year 2000, because you were telling me about their attendance. And sure enough, so when I looked up the episode we just watched from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, attendance was under 5,000.
Yes.
And the Pepsi Center, and this was like a collegiate arena that probably only seats 10 on a good day.
I don't know about that.
The Pepsi Center is like the main arena in Denver, right?
Yeah,
it's where the Nuggets
that's like
and Avs play.
Yeah, that's 18,000 plus or minus the stage and setup and whatnot.
Yeah, so I jumped ahead just to check the attendance for that show. And it is 9,000. They did put 9,000 people in the Pepsi Center.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's what Cage Match says.
I'm calling. I don't
know where else we could look
such
to
BS.
Verify.
There has to be. There's sources out there. I'll have to double check that. I do not. But well. So what happens with WCW is, because back then you basically had to book these arenas like a year ahead of time, and because you didn't have the internet, people would buy their tickets a year ahead of time. You'd go to the grocery store or wherever you'd get them. Remember, you'd go to like a Randall's or a Kroger or something, and that's how you get your tickets. Well, in 97, 98, the product was still hot in a sense. So in 99, wherever they went, people had bought their tickets, and if they hadn't gone to a place in a certain amount of time, and I imagine Denver's kind of on that list, especially for WCW, perhaps they hadn't been there in a couple of years since they were hot and people wanted to go.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that does it for this episode. Very productive. Very nice. Hour and a half. Rickee?
Are we gonna preview the cruise, or we're just gonna do a cruise review when I get back?
We'll just do a cruise review.
Okay.
And I will need your top 3 cocktails on the cruise. That's required.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There are always fun specialty cocktails. So usually there's a Bahama Mama, a margarita, and a Long Island iced tea that they just name something fun related to AEW or Chris Jericho. And then there's usually a couple other specialty cocktails that they throw in there. Those have not been announced yet, so I don't know. Also, in previous year, everything this year is very weird. In previous years, they also gave us a preview of some of the merchandise. I haven't seen that yet.
Ooh. I wonder what the vibe is going to be on the cruise.
And the schedule only came out today.
Yeah. I wonder what the vibe is going to be on the cruise.
What did you say?
The vibe?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always great. The group of us, like our whole group, our 5-timers, we've been on every single one. And you'd think that like we'd be jaded or not excited or whatever, but we're even more excited because we know no matter what talent they announce or what matches they announce, it's going to be great no matter what. So, let's just talk about the matches that they announced really quick.
Go for it.
So normally you don't get a card in advance. Usually the only match we find out about in advance is usually the Chris Jericho match. He only wrestles once, because Fozzy does a show every night. And he does like 4 episodes of his podcast on the cruise. So he only ever wrestles on the last night. So usually that's the only match we find out about. Because it's kind of like the main event match. So his match this year is he is teaming with Paul White and Speedball Mike Bailey to take on the Don Callis family of Will Hobbs, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis, who apparently is healthy.
Oh, Mark Davis is back. Okay.
The other matches that were announced. So last year they established the Oceanic Championship, and there was a tournament that Matt Cardona won.
Okay.
So Matt Cardona is still carrying that title. Huh?
Is he there this year?
He is there this year. So there is a qualifying match. Michael Oku versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Okay. And the winner of that match will face Matt Cardona for the Oceanic Championship. I love the idea of Michael Oku and Speedball Mike Bailey. What was that face you made?
I think they've had a match in Rev Pro.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I get to see it live. So
yeah.
And then they did announce one other match, which we saw on TV, but it's going to be super wild on a boat. We're getting Top Flight Action versus Commander, Vikingo, and Penta.
Oh, that's going to be good. I like that.
On a boat. I'm just really excited to see the rope walk on a boat.
Very exciting. Yeah, the exciting thing is today I bought my tickets to TJPW in Philly. So I bought both those shows.
Yes.
And I'm going to the Stardom show. So I'm getting my joshi on in Philly. Meeting a friend there. Hopefully other people can join up. Good. So if you're listening to this and you've stuck around this long and you're a fan of joshi, hit me up on Twitter, or if you have my number, text me. We'll definitely meet up in Philly.
And that's all WrestleMania weekend, right?
Yeah. So I went to WrestleMania weekend a few years ago when it was in New York.
Okay.
And did not go to WrestleMania. I went to like everything else that I wanted to see.
Sure. The indie stuff.
Yeah.
Doing that at some point. I highly recommend, if none of those shows overlap with Effie's Big Gay Brunch, I highly recommend going.
Hold on. I don't know if that's been even announced this year.
It has been announced.
Let's see. Okay, the Collective.
I've been to a bunch of them.
Is it not part of the Collective?
And it is part of the Collective. It is Saturday the 27th.
Saturday, 11 a.m.
Oh, this says noon, but whatever.
Oh. Okay.
In any case, it's Saturday. Oh, yeah, this does say 11. You're right. Okay. 2 different graphics. In any case, if that doesn't overlap with anything you already have tickets to, I definitely recommend it. It is just such a great experience. The wrestling is solid, but the talent that you see is just incredibly diverse. The crowd obviously is incredibly accepting, and it's just great. It's one of those shows that I will always go to if I'm there for one of the weekends. I would love to make it to a blood sport. I would really like to make it to a For the Culture. For the Culture, I believe, is free, by the way.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no, this has tickets for $35. Something was free. Something was free, and now I don't remember what it was. Something's free.
Yeah, get back to me on that. So let's get out of here.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, goodbye.
Later, everybody. See you Mania weekend. Enjoy. I look forward to hearing your experience on the cruise. Bye, everybody. See you next time.